An equator is a straight
Oh,
line.
Scott.
In spherical geometry, that's true. Look up the definition.
No, straight lines do not curve.
In spherical
They are not
geometry, a straight line is one that will curve. As long as it curves in a straight way. Along a sphere. That's correct.
And we're off. As usual, if you'd like to support this channel, there are PayPal and Patreon links in the info box below. Somebody's creeping up behind me. What is that? Sorry about that. Somebody was creeping up. We won't get into that. How's it going? You guys ready? Part 4. MindStomp. Of course, it's not too much on MindStomp anymore. It's just getting so tedious to listen to them. That science acumen, a train wreck. True Horizons. Yeah. I couldn't help myself. That was too much fun. And then we got Denise and Josh. There's one thing that stands out, all they say are stupid things, but there's one thing that stands out every part, right? Something just absolutely crazy. And I'm sure there's going to be something in this one that stands out. We'll see how far we get. Because let me take a look at this footage. Let's see where we're at. We are at 2 hours, 36 minutes, and 46 seconds in the MindStomp's review of a 5 hour, 58 minutes, and 30 seconds. So, I don't know. We might have a few parts here to go. I don't think it's the last part. Well, like I said, we'll see where we get. And then make a call after that. I haven't gotten any complaints, for going too long with it. It seems like people are enjoying this. Even though I did a full review. I did a treatment of this without MindStomp like a year ago or 8 months ago. It's on my channel. It's a bit hard. You have to go into the treatments. It's a bit hard to find because I didn't title it appropriately. I titled it with Denise and Mr. Magoo. I even had a hard time finding it. I said, where is this stupid thing? Right? I couldn't find. I even went through the treatments, but I don't know whether there wasn't a thumbnail with them on it or something. I don't know, but I was going through it trying to find it. It took me like 20, 25 minutes to say, oh, yeah, I finally found it. It had some title like Denise and Mr. Magoo on it. So just a shout out. It's a pretty good review. I mean, that was right off the cuff, like right after it happened. So if you guys want to go back and review that without MindStomp, MindSHOT idiot on there, then go back and review it for yourself. But it's pretty good. It's a pretty good snapshot. It's not a snapshot though. It's like a movie of your average skanking foul retard baltard. But this is obviously not talking about Josh. Just focusing on Denise, the co-host. Like I said, it's plainly obvious that this guy got all his info from a 2015 Reddit forum on Flat Earth. And he's just parroting the superficial headlines of it. He has no depth with anything. The things we crushed back in 2016, like just looked over and like just smashed it like an incoherent fly. Those types of arguments. Obviously, you guys heard them through part 1, 2, and 3. It doesn't change here. Just to let you know. underway here in a second. Got to get rid of Scotty and his straight lines will curve as long as they curve in a straight way. That's Josh material. That's Josh vicinity right there, isn't it? Straight lines will curve as long as they curve in a straight way. And Scotty has a PhD. I mean, a real life PhD. So he's right around Joshy's level. Oh, boy. Too funny. So I got to get rid of him. Where'd he go?
What?
There you go. We need that. All right. How's it going out there? How you guys doing? Kind of hard to really have a conversation when you're the only one talking. You can talk to yourself. I do have an inner voice. Shout out to Betty, who's not here, that abandoned me. Here, buy me onesie. Yet again. Super. Super chat, super fluid, super mullet. We don't have one of those yet, man. That was false advertising. I just seen super in the chat, so I had to do it. Let's wait a couple minutes. We got some stragglers. It looks like might be coming in. You guys aren't in a super big hurry, are you? I'm not. There's no going anywhere here. We're all iced in. We had freezing rain most of the night, and it's an ice skating rink outside. The really dangerous kind. You walk outside, walk off the steps, and it's you're through. You better have some hip pads. Especially on mine, because I live sort of up on a hill and everything's slanted. Yeah, it's pretty dangerous. My wife went out to take the garbage out a couple times, man. I told her, I said, don't go outside. Just put the trash in the garage. Just wait till tomorrow. Nope, she had to go do it. She cheated, though. She walked across. She was real careful. At first, this morning, she went out, and it caught her by surprise. She went to the bottom step and almost slipped, and then she said she crawled back up the steps. I was still sleeping. That's another story I'm going to get into in a second. And then she cheated, right? She slid across the small part of the sidewalk before you get to the driveway, and then she got onto I have a rock bed around the house, and then she got onto the grass, the little cheater. Yeah, she walked down through the grass, then on the road, which is a sheet of ice, right? And then up the other side of the yard onto the grass. It was all grass, so she squared away, and then she came back up the other way onto the grass and then crawled back up the steps. Can you read some chat comments, please, QE? Why? What do you want? I'm on to a story. What do you want me to read? You want to pick out something a little bit more specific, or do you want me to read all the chat comments? There, Nathan. So which one? So you said Nathan Oakley, 1980. Hey, Flatsy. Is that good? Read yours. I just did. You want me to read another one? Nathan Oakley, we'll get to the parts. Nathan said, don't worry. Don't work, folks. I think he said worry. You meant worry. Don't worry, folks. We'll get to the parts with me in them soon. Hopefully. Is that the one? I figured that might be it. Yeah. Is that good? Can I go on to more stories before we get going here? Read them all one by. Yeah, right. yeah, right. Touche. That ain't happening. You're lucky I'm reading any of them. I just flick my eyes over there every once in a while. You know, when I'm on the treatment, I can't see the chat. I don't want to see it. So, and even when I do see it, I don't want to read them out. I think it takes away from the stream, right? Reading chats or, you know, going out to chat and you chat and responding to chat and chat skanks. That's not my game. You need to pick somebody else. I'm not doing that. So what's the other story? Oh, yeah, the sleeping part. I slept 10 frigging hours. 10 hours, man. I don't usually do that. That's like once a year type of thing. I woke up, I was like, damn. Yeah, I can solve a 14 body problem. Give it to me all at once. Yeah. That doesn't usually happen, so. Yeah. That's my other story. That's all there is to the story. That's it. That's all I got. All right, I'm out of stories. Nothing else going on, dudes. I guess we're going to have to get into this. Let's see here. Do I got... Yes, I do. Let me make sure my screen's good. Volume is good. I'm on 3. 7.9 might be a little low for me. Check that up a bit. Hopefully it won't feed back. All right, last check out there. Let's see. You don't want me to read any more posts? Kim, we got... All right, we got enough moderators. Oh, we got plenty of moderators out here. I did notice a few more women in the chat, which is cool, man. We need to get more female flat earthers out here. I've heard a couple people talk about that, and I 100% agree. I mean, we need that female touch out here. That's for sure. So, Flatsy, you need to start recruiting more. Well, you got some friends that at least can fog a mirror, hopefully. Nathan, yeah, I know you're a woman. I've always known that. We need a relaunchment of the QE Cuties. You guys remember that a couple years ago? Yeah, it's time again. Exactly, YouTube. Exactly. Everyone go and read YouTube's comment right now. Just flashed up. I wholeheartedly agree. All right, let's get into this. Get ready. You guys got your therapist on speed dial? You're gonna need it from the first 3 parts. You don't know what's about to happen, but you know something stupid comes this way. There we go. Like I said, Salt Lake Stacy. There's another. That's what I'm talking about. Salt Lake Stacy. She needs to recruit some more. She's a female flat earther. You got Flatsy out here. You got Betty. You got. That's about it. So let's get this going. All right? More females. Do it now. All righty then. Get that screen over there where it should be so I don't get any Skype calls. And if you notice, I even got the Big Kahuna up. Now, when I say with the Big Kahuna is that right circle up there with my emblem on it. I call that the Big Kahuna. You guys left me go half the damn show without not even letting me know that it was gone. Even though you couldn't let me know because I didn't take a break until I finally noticed. Besides that fact. Yeah. All right. Bye. Here we go. Think. Yes.
Al-Biruni measured a geometric tangent point to the horizon to give you that R value by way of acquisition of a height of the mountain measured from a flat plane with elevation angle measurements. So in order to derive the R value in these maths that you're saying that, correct me if I'm wrong, David, you said it was an experiment? It's not. Maybe you'd like to give us the hypothesis for Walter Bislin's model. There won't be one, you just don't know what science is. We do. On a daily basis on Flat Earth Debate, Nathan Oakley 1980 channel, we take apart clowns and their idiotic ideas of what science is.
Like you. Clowns like you. Just like you, Denise. Yep, that's what they do. We've been doing that for years. I mean, it's not much these days because those clowns, they don't come back anymore. They wisened up after they got their asses ripped out their throats countless times. But he's right. Clowns like you who don't know what science is. You, Joshy, the spider monkey, and MindStomp, right? Who already been exposed more times than Mae West with his science acumen on here. So good job. Articulated very well. Thank you, Nathan.
Because we know what science is. And
yeah, and you don't. That is, we know what natural science is. You dumbass crackers.
How the globe Earth doesn't have any. Meanwhile, this non-science model, with its maths that I understand implicitly, has been debunked because you can't get the R value that the entire model's based on because you can't measure a geometric horizon to give you the R value. We debunked Al-Biruni by debunking the measurement of a geometric sphere edge horizon at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, as denied by one of this show host and affirmed by the other.
You remember that? The Earth too biggie, no CE curvy from the spider monkey Josh down here, and then torpedoed by Denise showing curvy that we can see very closey. And these guys still haven't realized, these bozos still haven't realized what they've done, which is hilarious, man.
We know what the globe Earth claims, you don't. We know how the Earth's measured flat with elevation angle measurements, to Polaris giving you your maps and models, including the globe. Your globe's a flat Earth model.
They don't get it. This is about the 6th or 7th in wholesale debunk of the heliocentric ball-tard spinning space monkey religion. It's lost on them. Well, obviously it's lost on them. I mean, you know, we get it. But I guess Nathan and more to the point, Patrick, because these are his acquaintances, and I think they were just being kind to let them just bring up point after incoherent point from Reddit, because this should have been over quick. Like I said, this is about the 6th time Nathan alone has destroyed the spinning ball space monkey religion. So I don't know. I don't get it. Like I said, we can give the excuse that Patrick's just entertaining these morons. Just maybe it's for the audience, but if the audience doesn't realize this, man, that's scary.
Okay, real quick. Okay, Patrick, it's up to you. You want to go first? I want to let you respond to this.
Go first. Respond to what? Respond to what Nathan just said. It's like he just whistles right past the graveyard. Friggin' Nathan, he's getting just closes his eyes. You know, just whoop. Yeah, whatever he just said. Yeah, because he doesn't understand what Nathan said. We know for sure that the spider monkey doesn't. And we didn't hear any or too many dings from MindStomp. So no, it's off to the next. Patrick, do you want to deal with this next point?
And then I have a few questions coming out of the chat that I'm just going to throw in there. So you go.
I gotta go let my kids in. I'll be right back.
Okay. So
He's got to go get his big wheel. He left it outside, so he'll be right back.
I'm going to
Patrick,
respond to the Walter Bislin model real quick. When Nathan
Walter Bislin doesn't have a model. That's not a model. They keep on. I'll tell you what. If you have a drinking game and somebody pulls out of the hat model out of this discussion, I mean, you're going to have to get your stomach pumped. There are no models. They don't know what models are. Like I said, I guess they Jedi mind trick, Patrick into claiming a model. It's exhausting. It's exhausting for me, trying to set the path straight over how many models they say. What do you want me to do? Not say anything? Nah, I'm not going to do that. Anytime anyone says model, I'm going to stop it and say,
what?
Get my drift?
Nathan says it begs the question. It's very important to realize how fundamental a flaw in logic that is.
He doesn't get that. They don't understand that.
We asked at the very beginning, is there any evidence that the horizon is Earth curve? We haven't heard any so far, and actually the answer that we got from Josh was,
no, that's a, how did he phrase it? A no talking point? Some nonsense like that. After the Earth too biggie, no C curvy.
Was, no, you won't see Earth curve because the Earth is too big. A statement that you can falsify.
That statement you can follow. He falsified it by pulling up Soundly's photo. Patrick's still not getting it. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, of course you can debunk it via geometry. Yes, but Patrick debunked it with a Soundly photo. Oh, boy.
Falsify doing simple geometry. And then you go to Walter Bislin's little computation. He starts by begging the question that the Earth is a sphere of radius 3959. And then when the horizon is not where it's supposed to be, he has a whole bunch of other little rigs that he can put in there and say, well, this is why the horizon is different this time. It's this imaginary friend that globe believers have. When they don't find the horizon where it's supposed to be, they explain the Earth curve is not there because it's being hidden by this, that, or the other. Again, begging the question, we know that the Earth curve is being hidden because we know it's a globe. It is circular reasoning every single time.
No, that's incorrect, Patrick, as to the way they're doing.
So what's incorrect? It's circular reasoning. There's nothing incorrect about that. He just established it. I mean, this is just third grade reasoning, Denise.
This because they're not just making a model with math. They're
not making a model, period. And now, how is that dealing with his point about circular reasoning, idiot?
also confirming it with direct observations. And
they're also confirming what with direct observations? This. They're confirming that with direct observations. You glue sniffing fungus muncher. Reddit retard. It's still circular reasoning, no matter how you slice it.
Doing it repeatedly. So,
they're doing it repeatedly. What are they, opening and closing their eyelids? You clown?
Well, that's the difference, right?
That makes all the difference. Doing it repeatedly just renders null the circular reasoning, Denise. You'd clown.
To be a missing link, and they would have
we got a missing link with you. Like a root vegetable. That's the missing link.
Response for that particular math that you're bringing up and showing.
Who has a particular response? What are you conjuring responses from complete strangers that never happen? Are you delusional? It's still circular reasoning, idiot.
Where that flaw is, right?
Shut up.
What flaw?
Yeah.
The response
flaw?
he just explained. So here's the thing. David Whitehead does not appear to be triggered.
Oh my God,
appear to have
shut
mental
up.
Disability.
Okay, listen.
This is
So he comes up, he stops the video, and his point is that Denise, idiot, doesn't appear to be triggered. What the fuck? What is he, some type of snowflake? Are you some type of snowflake, MindSHOT? You know what you should do for your, this is what he probably does for his vocation? He reports on soap operas, and he gives, you know, like the feelings and stuff of the soap opera participants. That's a vocation that you would fit into. Not here, Sally Snowflake. You dumbass cracker, what does that have that? Oh, David doesn't appear to be triggered. he appears totally committed. Idiot. I'm 5 in this idiot.
It's just and the question.
Shut up.
Really understands an explanation. Obviously, the MindShock listeners can chime in if they do believe he's being dishonest, but I don't think he
The MindShock listeners are dumber than you are.
is. I think
Shut
faith
up.
in these other like all
If we do that, I'm not an expert on that.
The expert was
position of impressive math, like all the models or whatever.
Shut up. He's even talking. MindStomp even talking about models. Oh, brother.
He's still not understanding what a presupposition is.
Shut up.
Right? I don't have that. I'm not an expert on that.
the expert was Mick West. Sorry to interrupt.
If we do actual people,
Don't worry, Nick. He's just going to talk right through you. Just mind-numbing minutia that he's parroted from Reddit 2015. That's it. That's all he's got.
observations, like, I mean, one of the oldest things that actually, let me go to the audience because they have some of these questions. I'll just
One of the oldest things. Let me go to the audience. Sentence fragment.
throw them in.
Wow, so this has been quite painful.
Listening to you has been quite painful.
This will be the end of part 1. I will try to finish this up in
Oh,
part 2,
sorry about that, folks.
where things definitely start to go off the rails.
You
for
think
those
it's
that
been-
find that entertaining?
This bozo thinks it's been on the rails up to this point. That's scary. All right, let's get to his part 2. That would have been close enough. That's not close enough. Let's pull a couple fivers. Look how 5 seconds. Look at that. See, that's the collective IQ of MindStomp, Denise, and Josh, the spider monkey. There you go, collective IQ. All right, we're 5 in this.
Welcome to part 2.
Shut up.
Harsh on him. Typical fashion. This is actually about to descend into absolute and utter chaos. Like some people enjoy that when that happens in flat Earth debates. That's why they watch them.
Shut up.
Fallacies, of course.
Like I said, he'd be good at color commentary for soap operas. That's his true calling. MindStomp. Dumbass cracker. We're 5 in them.
On the counter, part 1. You can donate to our games and chat. It's not suggestions.
One of the oldest things that actually, let me go to the audience because they have some of these questions. I'll just throw them in and I'll let you guys chew them apart. So, number 1, why can't you see Polaris from the southern hemisphere?
Like I told you, folks, these are idiotic things we heard in 2015, but he's picked them up. Denise has picked them up from Reddit, and that's the mentality of his audience. These are a joke.
Or Sigma Octantis from the northern hemisphere?
So
That's the
the
first question.
hemisphere is a begging the question fallacy again, like atmosphere. It's assuming that Polaris isn't visible from the bottom half of a sphere. Meanwhile, the maps and models are derived from elevation angle measurements to Polaris. So the flat maps and flat models include...
How many times has Nathan said this about elevation angles? Anyone? Just off the cuff, I think it's greater than 7 times. But here we go again. And everyone's just going to whistle past the graveyard.
including the globe, which is converted from these elevation angle measurements to Polaris by way of something called the Haversine formula, which converts flat Earth elevation angle measurements to Polaris to give you latitude lines onto a globe spherical surface. And if you're going to do celestial navigation, you have to convert it back from the flat map, not through Haversine and the globe, onto the celestial sphere, which is the dome of the vision you have when you're on a flat ocean at the equatorial plane, which is how you measure these angles. So to ask how we beg the question of being on the bottom antipodal on a hemisphere to see Polaris, when the very concept of the equator itself is based on the minimum angle you can see Polaris with. So at the equator, you're measuring a flat Earth angle to Polaris at its minimum, i.e. where Polaris is on the horizon. And as you move further towards the centre, i.e. towards the North Pole, the angle to Polaris, that's a flat Earth angle measurement, increases as you approach.
Oh, he got his sippy cup back. Remember he dropped it during the last episode? Sorry about that. We'll continue.
Approach Polaris, i.e. it goes up and up and up in the sky. Well, that's a flat Earth angle that you're asking about for a flat Earth concept, the equator, and then imposing your, begging the question, hemispherical assumption onto that flat Earth derivation to ask me how we can't see it off the bottom of your assumption that we dangle off the bottom of a sphere.
You know what's weird?
You.
If David Whitehead really is being intellectually honest, like it seems he is being,
What?
if Nathan Oakley wasn't so freaking obnoxious,
Oh, God. You're getting fived.
to not necessarily, but because he's
Shut up.
aggressive, and that
Shut up, clown.
doesn't seem particularly in point Whitehead he's saying.
Picture of the map that you.
All right, here we
Crap
go.
question.
It's also important.
Do you have a picture of the map that you agree upon?
Okay, listen to this. This is typical, right? Do you have a map that you agree upon? You know, that mind-numbing idiot nonsense. He's going to get slapped around here in a second. I just want everyone to notice when this is a new topic. We're talking about maps. Look who's sitting here, right? Spider Monkey. So he is here at the beginning of this map discussion. Everyone on this? Pull a fiver. We'll pull J. Here we go. Keep that in mind.
Really the best, and it makes him look bad, even if
Shut up.
A picture of the map that you agree upon as to being a map of the flat Earth. Do you have
All of
anything
them
like
are
that?
flat. You show me a globe-shaped map.
Just getting slapped around, Denise.
No. I'm asking.
Yeah.
I answered you. All of them.
Change.
All of them. They're all flat. Do you know why? Because they need to work with elevation angles. That's why all maps are flat. If you're at sea and you're using a map to navigate, you're going to measure one line along
Here we go again with the elevation angles, man.
the ground and one line to the star. That's an angle. Then you're going to draw a circle on a map. That's why it's flat. That's why they're not globe-shaped. You can't do celestial navigation on a curved surface because you can't acquire an elevation angle from a curve. It's an
Remember, idiot has dinged him every time he said that? Mind stump? Mind stump, why didn't you ding him here? You dinged him a number of times in the past. Most of these fallacies are because of that. They're non-fallacies. He's just dinging them. Right? Why aren't you dinging him now? He's just said the same thing again. Right? Have you finally figured out what a triangle is? Mind stump. Mind dump. Idiot. Let's see if he dings him.
an angle. It's two straight lines. That's why they're all flat. So now you've asked me, do you want to show me your globe-shaped map that anybody navigated with ever? Because there isn't one. They're all flat for a reason. So you can navigate with them with the flat Earth elevation angle measurement off a flat plane that you'll be getting from a sextant.
That was a classic comeback that just slapped him about the head and shoulders. Just what a flurry of blows. Right? Let's see what happens.
Josh, why do they flatten out maps?
So he asked the dumbest person in the world the same question, more or less, that he asked Nathan. Nathan just exhaustively ripped him to shreds with the truth that a second grader can realize. But we're going to dismiss everything that Nathan said, and we're going to ask Josh, the dumbest spider monkey in the history of the universe, what his thoughts on why maps are flat. What's he going to say? Check this.
I just told you. Is it like I'm not
That's your
here?
opinion.
Is it I say something and then you appeal to someone else?
Hey, I'm asking a question.
Yeah. Is it okay if we ask questions?
Sure,
No,
it's
no.
okay.
Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah. Well,
Listen to his answer. Well, okay. Why are all maps flat, Josh? Well,
because our perception, right?
our perception. Our perception.
What? Maybe there's a way to look at this in a different way.
And look at Nathan. He's like, what the hell is going on here? What a clown.
Is we're all talking about how we perceive reality.
We're all talking about how we perceive reality as to why all maps are flat.
What? Am I correct on that? Is how we
No, we were
perceive
talking about
reality?
maps, and I was answering him. But now we could talk about something else because you don't know.
I came in. Well, that's one. I came in at the middle of the conversation.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't, liar, dumbass. I made it a point that you were here when the conversation about maps began. You were sitting your dumb ass right there before the conversation started, so that's horse shit. Yeah. So I don't know whether it's just stupidity or he's lying. Right? You guys make the call. I can't discern that. But you were definitely sitting your dumb ass here when the conversation about maps started.
Because I was letting my kids in the
No, you
All
weren't.
right, do you want me to fill you in? We were talking about maps and how they're derived from flat Earth elevation angle measurements to Polaris to give you latitude. Obviously, you're not an exact expert on this subject. Meanwhile, I know what the hell I'm talking about. Do you want to carry on talking about this with me, Dave? Or do you want to hand it over to your host who doesn't know anything about it?
Oh, he'll hand it over to his host that doesn't know anything about it. That's for sure. What are you going to do, Denise?
This is you know
I
what?
want to have Josh's. I just want to ask his opinion on it.
I just want to know the dumbest person in the room's opinions on something that he clearly doesn't know. Unbelievable.
He's
He doesn't
working the
know.
Navy. I just want to
You're
know.
not clear.
what
He
his
doesn't
opinion
know.
is.
Well,
No,
let's
Nathan,
find out.
Let's find out. Why don't you shut up for a second?
He doesn't know. He would already said he.
What?
And let's find out. How about that?
It goes back to the same thing that we've been talking about this whole.
Oh my God, he's going to go back to Earth Biggie, too biggie, no curvy C on the question of why maps are flat. Yeah, how much you want to bet? Watch.
Time, and we're never going to come to an agreement on.
Profound.
The
Profound.
perception of curve.
Nathan, shut up.
Yeah.
I'm going to mute you.
Perception of curve.
He's going to mute you.
Okay.
Now Whitehead looks like he's getting triggered.
We don't care about it. Shut up. You better say something coherent within the next 5 seconds.
Although, to be fair, this might be one of the only times where a globe earther might be justifiably
Oh my
triggered.
God, you're getting
Again,
fived.
rude. You're not.
And so early not realized with
I mean, it's just not.
Shut up.
okay is not realized with eye length distance to the horizon.
With eye length distance to the horizon, can you show us that? What in the hell does that mean?
What? And so early navigators, they produce flat Earths. We still produce flat maps
Early navigators produce flat Earths. You still produce flat maps, okay?
today.
Okay, good.
What's wrong with that?
You're a globetard?
Doesn't
you
prove
claim
that
we're on a
the Earth
sphere?
is flat. What's that?
Because you claim we're on a sphere. He's asking me about these flat maps. Like,
I didn't ask you anything. I'm asking Josh. But there's utilitarian reasons why they would put it
Ooh, that's a $10,000 word, utilitarian. Well, Nathan already explained it to you.
onto a map for the ability to do these things. But that doesn't mean it scales to the fact that
It scales to the fact that
What?
it's
No,
saying
I mean-
that the Earth itself is flat. It's
Why is
just,
that?
It's a
The-
utilitarian
Oh, really?
purpose,
Why is
but
that?
it's gonna-
Well, maybe you can tell us why.
Nathan, I'm talking to Josh.
I'm just asking,
talking
aren't we allowed
Josh,
to ask
man.
questions? I'm just asking why that would
No,
be. Why
because
would they
I'm
scale it
trying
to a
to get
flat?
he's going to get rumpus now. That's it.
Josh to answer it.
Maybe
so
you
I'm
could
gonna
tell
mute
me.
You.
Yep.
Why
muted.
is that?
And Josh, could you give it a shot there? Go ahead.
Well, no, you're right. Is that
Well, no, you're right.
what? There's many reasons why we use a flat map. I mean, navigators weren't going to go out there and just create. Some of them had globes, but it's hard
Some navigators had globes. All right, let's see them. The who, what, when, where, and why. Okay? Idiot.
to navigate on that for the exact reasons that Nathan said, is because when you're looking at the horizon on perspective, it appears horizontal.
It appears horizontal.
I've agreed with this. I
Right.
have not said this wasn't the case. I said the reason why it appears horizontal is because we have a limited perspective to the horizon,
Eye length distance.
and that the curvature of
Oh,
the Earth is
muted.
Here we go. The too biggie, no see curvy.
By the host.
negligible towards that horizon.
Oh,
It's
that's it.
negligent towards that horizon.
My time in this discussion, clearly.
Okay.
This
So,
is what I'm trying to say. Is
hearing-
like we're all like observing the same phenomena, and then
So for my audience, this is what happens when you point out that the host of the show hasn't got the slightest fucking idea what he's talking about. The co-host wants to hand across to him because I'm proving a flat Earth. Meanwhile, I'm getting muted while this dick waffles on about absolutely nothing interesting.
I think I'm probably accurately describing your position on this. Then David comes with this Lake Pontchartrain.
Yeah, he torpedoes him. His dumbass, freaking nonsensical Earth too biggie, no see curvy at 1% or 1 degree, depending on what time it is, every 75 miles.
Photo and says this is evidence of the horizon being Earth curve. Then shows the Walter Bislin calculator that includes lots of other atmospheric conditions in its.
Atmospheric. You don't give them atmospheric. That's a paradox. Atmospheric. What's that going to do? Nothing.
And it says the horizon is Earth curve. I'm not really understanding why you're persisting with this claim that we're not going to see an Earth curve horizon when all the globers are talking about.
Well, no. Denise just showed it. With the Lake Pontchartrain causeway transmission lines.
Why they're seeing Earth curve
Right,
horizon.
but see, I don't want to get into the topic of optics of what we're seeing with reflection, refraction.
Reflection. He doesn't want to get into the optics of it. Like he does. I'm shocked that he even knows how to pronounce the word. He doesn't want to get into reflection or refraction.
All of this other stuff, right? How various different densities in the atmosphere.
What?
What?
Densities in the atmosphere? Densities in a paradox? These dumbass crackers, they just mindlessly parrot the headlines that they heard from other moron baltards, right? Densities in their atmo have absolutely nothing to do with anything. I guess they connect it with refraction. I would ask you, idiot baltards, if you're listening. I must have exposed you, idiots. It's in the high hundreds with this statement. Do we have horizontal gradients? We're looking horizontally at stuff. Do we have horizontal density gradients, you morons? So your density gradients are utterly meaningless, even though you don't know what refraction is, and you never will. Let's just entertain what you think refraction is, and it's light going through different density gradients. That would mean the most refraction that we would ever see, according to your dumbasses, is like looking up. There are vertical density gradients. So the biggest or the largest amounts of refraction must be looking up at stars or airplanes, helicopters, balloons that are more or less anything from, I don't know, 70 degrees down to about 30 degrees, because you're looking through all those densities. Is everyone following me? So that would be the greatest amount of refraction. Or if you're in an airplane or a helicopter and you're looking down at those angles, right? Because you're looking through lots of quote unquote density gradients. So I should be seeing like mirages of freaking airplanes and shit. I mean, I live right by an airport. We got jets flying in and out of there all the time. Wouldn't that be the most amount of refraction? Shouldn't I be seeing inverted images of freaking jets everywhere? You freaking imbeciles! Huh? Sorry about that. I caught myself. Started flailing around. Oh, boy. We take a break. How about that? We can all calm down. Hey, we got super chat, super fluids. So let's see what we got. A.B. Jude. How's it going? It's going just fine. Thanks for asking. A.B. Jude, again, you've been rocking that super chat. Super fluid, super molid. Billy Philly, thanks. You too. You're always rocking that super chat, Philly. Josh thinks carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide are synonyms. Yeah. Wasn't that the last one? Wasn't that part 3? Yeah, that he confused the two? He conflated. That was hilarious. In the same sentence, he confused the two. Unbelievable, man. Hey, did you guys hadn't realized that? Yeah, into the break. Yeah, do you guys realize that now? With their idiot view of what refraction is, what it's not, just go into their paradigm and then destroy their own paradigm in their paradigm. Yeah, because that's all they do is refraction. They're never going to know what true refraction is. So it's a lot of fun destroying that, but go into their own paradigm, what they think it is, and then destroy it from the inside. Because just think about it. That's all they do, right? They just density gradients, right? So just destroy it from the inside. It's common sense, right? That you would see mirages of airplanes at a minimum. Yeah, makes sense. That's a lot of fun. I'd like to hear somebody do that to them. Not me, because it would be a disaster from the word go for them. You know, then they'd start having Tourette's and swearing. It would just run off the rails. Aren't there 5 types? Yeah. In their fairy tale paradigm, there's 5 types of refraction. Yeah. Yeah. But it would be a lot of fun. Somebody go into the land of misfit toys and bring that up. Yeah, I'd like to listen to that. Especially if somebody says density gradients, look out. That would be the phrase, right? Yeah, I don't know if it's stupidity or you shouldn't have deleted that. Joshua was just making a comment. He doesn't know whether it's stupid or he's lying. Yeah, I don't. I can't make the call. Whether it's just idiocy or he's just too stupid. That was just moronic at a fundamental level. Okay, I wound down. See what we got. Let's get back to this.
Cause and amplification.
It's like this Josh guy just memorized or he heard people use the words, so now he's just using them without actually having any understanding of anything. But
yeah, at least you got that right, Mind Stump. Welcome back to reality.
But again, I mean, not to attack the guy.
Oh, God, now we're going to get into his white knighting for retard sympathizers. He just can't, Mind Stump can't help himself. Can he? Let's see where he goes.
I mean, just look at his face. I mean, clearly he has some kind of severe mental disability.
You said that. Everyone already knows that. Well, duh. All right, that's clearly established, and
he's not grasping anything. But it's still not cool to attack the guy because
he's not being okay, he's getting 5'd.
Of the light that we're seeing. I don't want to get into that argument. All I'm trying to talk about here was in this
is Earth too biggy to see curvy. That's all he's doing. I'll bet you he goes. How much you want to bet?
perspective of the curvature of what we were talking about. Now, Patrick, I have stated this over and over and over again. If you take the circumference of the Earth and divide it by
Here we go again. Yeah. There you go, Patrick. Listen closely. Look at Patrick.
360, which is a circle, the number you get is about 69.
Oh, shit. He's got the right number this time. Somebody must have fed him the right number. It's not 75. Now it's 69 this time. Of course, he doesn't know what that means. But at least he's got it right. Let's listen.
Right? 69 miles. So if you take in miles, 24,000 miles divided by 360, you get about 69 miles. That means that every 1 degree, so for the globe Earth, for every 1 degree, and I was saying 75 because that was
Yeah, you were saying 75. Yeah, we already know that. Now you got 69. Okay.
my approximation, about 75.
That 75 was his approximation, folks.
69 miles is what you should see in the sense of 1% of.
Now it's 1% of curvature, not 1 degree, 1%. Oh, my God. Like I said, we've been over this so many times before. He's an idiot. Everyone knows that. He thinks the curvature, the arc on the protractor or on the sextant is the curvature of the Earth. You can't make this up. I bet you he doesn't even know that. He's not aware of that's what's actually happening. Most baltards aren't aware of that because we come across it a few times. That they were. I don't know if misplaced concrete in this or what, but they're delusional. They have no idea what they speak of. Nothing. Zero.
Already covered this, but that's why I've been muted and removed from the conversation, because 1 degree is a flat Earth elevation angle measurement. I'm
No, 1%, Nathan.
not allowed to interrupt to point this out, so the guy's going to reiterate his incorrect nonsense with me on mute.
8 inches over 1 mile squared is distributed through that 1 mile. It's not 1 mile drop 8 inches. And this
He
is what
thinks that we think it's over 1 mile. You go out 1 mile, and at the end of the mile, you got 8 inches of drop. OMG, dudes.
what?
Where did he get that? Hey, were they saying that on Reddit back in the day? Because I have never heard that. I've been out here for 8 years, right from the beginning, in Hangouts with all those booger-eating knuckle draggers, and never heard no stupid shit like that. So I don't know.
A lot of people do believe. I'm not saying that's what you believe, but this is what a lot of people do.
See, meanwhile, me and Patrick have
So a lot of people do believe that. Can you point those out?
covered this 4 or 5 times on their behalf, and the host has denied it. 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. Completely ignored, didn't understand it. Now he's waffling on through the same incorrect shit he's mentioned 3 or 4 times.
Understand why we're still on this topic if we can agree to disagree on this. Let's move on
He wants to agree to disagree on geometry. Just a complete category here.
to the other various points.
70.
We'll just treat this as a no point. That's what he said the last time. What a clown. We'll just treat the curvature, or finding out what the curvature is and how it's measured, we're going to treat that as a no point. Yeah, no shit.
75 miles. 75 squared. What is that? 5,625 times 2/3. We're going to
You're asking them? that for sure that was rhetorical.
call that 4,000 feet, give or take. Maybe 3,900 feet over 75 miles. That was your approximation. 3,900 feet is how much curvature of the Earth would block a person on point A, 75 miles distant from point B.
And you could see from Josh's face, like, there's just no comprehension of anything going on. Like, there's just nothing going on between the ears.
No shit. You have similar problems.
And again, it's not his fault. Like, you know, he's meant to say, I mean,
we're 5 of them.
Can't pull them out of around a track. Humane is incapable.
you wouldn't be able to see anything shorter than 3,900 feet in height. That is a geometric reality, okay? So you may call it just 1 degree, but it still requires approximately
No, he calls it 1%.
3,900 feet of blocking curvature. You just draw a circle. Say, okay, the distance is 1 degree over these 360. The actual curvature skipped over is 3,900 feet. It's enormous.
3,900 feet is just a little over a mile. What?
Let's hear that again.
And we're
Yes.
talking about 1 mile. 3,900 feet is just a little over a mile.
I don't need to say anything about that.
And we're
Yes.
talking about 1 mile squared,
It's
right?
what-
So, I mean, I don't even want to keep going now. This is just real.
You don't have the Constitution, right? Because you're a white knight retard sympathizer. That's what the whole problem is there, MindStomp.
Really sad. I mean, the poor guy doesn't
brother.
even know how many feet are in a mile. I mean, this, or does he just not know basic numbers? Like 3,900 is not greater than 5,280. I mean, he's making mentally disabled people look bad. I mean, there are people with severe mental disabilities who do know how many feet are in a mile, or at least know the order of numbers. They're not going to think that 5,280 is
We
a
got it.
smaller.
5.
What do we get? More sad, severe mentally. They don't know what they mean.
Oh,
basic
brother.
number. Not to mention
Shut up.
feet. Building is 2. So he thinks buildings in the living mentally disabled. Now he's giving.
You're
all
mentally
mentally
disabled.
himself. So that might be functioning higher.
He won't shut up.
A mile when you're to think. I mean, this is crazy.
Kansas.
First of
We're
all, it's a
talking
little
about
under a
our
mile.
Patrick, have you ever been to Denver, Colorado, and came in from Kansas?
Right out of the blue. Yes, I have done that personally on 70. Yep, I-70. Yes, I have done that. Patrick, he's like, what? Where are we going now?
Denver,
No.
Colorado is the mile-high city, right?
Yeah, Denver, Colorado is the mile-high city. Yes. Good job.
5,280 feet. So it was a bit under a mile with that 3,900. 5,280, 1 mile. Okay. The Colorado Rockies, some of those are 14,000 feet, but they're sitting in an elevation of a mile up. So they're 52.
They're sitting in that elevation of a mile up? No, Denver's sitting at an elevation of a mile up. What the hell is he on about?
280, and then 10,000, 14,000 feet.
What? I don't know, dude.
Okay. If there's no curvature to the earth, when should, using trigonometry, geometry here, when should I begin to see them?
4 o'clock.
Coming from Kansas into Denver, Colorado.
4 o'clock.
Well,
And
that's
it's about
why we
380 miles from the border of Kansas to Denver.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not that long. Exactly. It's somewhere around 150 to 170 from the border of Kansas to Denver. So he's a knuckle dragger, just making shit up.
Okay, so that's why you take the square root of the observer's height.
So the thing we've told him a dozen times, but I'm not allowed to point out again.
Computation is done for a sphere of circumference of 24,901 English statute miles. So if you're at 30,000 feet, you're on an airplane, right? You take the square root of 30,000 feet. What is that? 175? What's 175 squared? Is it 30,000 roughly? So anyway,
It's, yeah,
you
3625.
Okay. Anyway, wow, I got it way wrong. So call it 160. Call it 170. So 170 times 1.225, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So you should not be able to see further than 200 miles from 30,000 feet on a globe of radius 3959. Jay Tolan Media is showing infrared photos from 30,000 feet
Right,
of
but
elevation,
that is
well over 500
not
miles.
They're going to bypass that. They didn't understand that. He's back on his friggin' mile high nonsense.
right? That's assuming on a flat Earth, right? If the Earth is flat, but we also have to take into account elevation, correct? I mean, so
Elevation of what? You are the object.
we all agree that the Earth has sea level. It can go up hundreds and thousands of feet in the sense of topography. We all agree.
No.
What?
You got hundreds of thousands of feet of topography? Oh, boy.
Upon that?
Sea level. So the elevation of the mountain is in reference to sea level, correct? 0.
What's Mount Everest? 28,000? Something like that? I don't know. Somewhere in that vicinity. According to Josh, we have things that are hundreds of thousands of feet in elevation.
It would be sea level?
Yes.
Level.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Is if
Flat.
we took the where the sea meets land is 0. Okay, where the sea meets land is 0. If we
Yeah, you said it twice. Where the sea meets land is 0. Your IQ. What the hell is he talking about?
account for that, and we
We gonna account for that, are we? All right.
say that the Earth has elevation in the sense that we climb up hills, we can go up mountains.
We have watermelons. There's dandelions.
Are we all in agreement that the Earth has different elevations?
Yes,
Oh
with
my
reference to a
God.
0 baseline,
Yeah.
a flat Earth.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So what I'm trying to say is if
You're trying to say about the Mile High City?
I'm coming in from Kansas and Denver, Colorado is the Mile High City.
Boy, he's got a thing for this Denver and Mile High, boy.
So it sits at 5,280 feet elevation.
I mean, you got to be proud of this guy, man. At least he knows at least some of the states
Proud.
in the country. I mean, that's
See,
cool.
here we go with the white knight sympathizing again.
That's cool. He knows some states. I mean,
That's amazing.
props. Just,
Yeah,
you know.
mad props.
And I have a mountain that
One mountain? That's only just one mountain? I think there's a lot of mountains there in Colorado.
in Colorado.
And you sure? Is that Mile High City in Colorado?
That is 14,000 feet high, or 14,000 feet high. When should I be able to see that?
4 o'clock.
And you're saying it depends on the height. Yes, the height of the observer is to the horizon.
The height of the observer, you see him go down. He does his little Gilligan thing, and the height to the horizon, pointing down. Idiot.
Not at objects that are above the horizon massively, especially a landmass that is going to
Where, in the Mile High City? Colorado?
move up and elevate upward 1 mile from that ground level.
Okay.
When should I expect to see Denver, Colorado, from Kansas on a flat Earth? If we're talking about elevation, it's 1 mile up, and then there's mountains above it that are 10,000 feet up. Okay, if I'm coming from Kansas,
Are you saying you're coming from Kansas?
if I'm looking at the horizon,
Back to the horizon, back to his Gilligan thing downward. If he's looking at the horizon.
that's fine. My height does matter. But if I'm looking at an object that is above the horizon in
You mean like the Mile High City in Colorado?
elevation, when should I be able to see that?
4 o'clock. Told you 3 times.
Okay.
Depends. If you don't stop in Goodland, for lunch, it'll be 3 o'clock.
I'll answer. So in your mathematics, including the Walter Bisling calculator, there's no accounting for perspective. So according to Globe Earth mathematics, the height is irrelevant because the height in
But
Globe
Patrick
Earth,
just said it was relevant.
so the height in Globe Earth mathematics is irrelevant because the distance of the mountain versus the height of the mountain given in feet won't change with observer distance. So in Globe Earth maths, it doesn't matter if the mountain's 10 miles away or 1 mile away, it's always calculated at the same feet or meters value. Ergo, the size, that's apparent size, angular size, perspective, does not change with distance. Hence my description of it being a begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator. Because where things reduce in size, that's angular size, perspective, and then get obscured from view because they become too small to see, the globe Earth mass which excludes and hijacks perspective claims that it will disappear from view, it's only about the 10th time, at 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. That's the point that the geometric claim of an Earth curve that obscures your view when you ignore perspective will block the view of the mountain.
I mean, this is rough. It's like they're still pulling this quadriplegic out of the chair to try to get him to, you know, play some defense.
Well, he entered Thunderdome. Mind stump. What do you want them to do? He's not leaving, right? What do you want him to do?
In a basketball game, he's not capable of doing it. Like, what is Nathan? Like, why does Nathan?
We're fiving him.
Anything to this?
New York for Ireland.
Let's go back.
That's with why can't.
I don't know what to make of this.
Shut up.
That's why when people charge flat earthers with why can't you see New York for Ireland, when they claim Earth curve at 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet is getting in the way, when in reality, New York's very small at that distance. It's perspective, just excluded from Earth curve mathematics.
Thank you, Nathan.
Can I
Now back to Mile High. Mile High City.
just ask a quick question
Go ahead,
here?
Nathan. Go ahead.
When I'm sitting here, because I live in the British Columbia, live right by the ocean,
Uh-oh, here comes a real stumper.
and I, on a regular basis, witness when boats are going and they're disappearing bottom up.
Not only incoherent 2015 Reddit argument that he's superficially parroting, but yet again has torpedoed Josh from his Earth too biggie, no CE curvy. They still don't realize it. Unbelievable.
I wonder if Josh is paying attention here. Because Josh is stating that you would never, I mean, again,
That's a sentence fragment that you would never see curvy. You should have went on. That's what Josh is stating, what I just said. Too biggie, no curvy. Well, at least MindStomp caught on to that. It's shocking to me. But you stop with a sentence fragment. What else are you going to say?
really, I can't attack this poor guy.
Oh,
I mean,
brother.
Attacking somebody with a mental
Shut
disability
up.
I mean,
We're fiving them.
Yeah,
So, yeah, so if we're talking about it disappearing on a flat plane, the vanishing point, the whole ship, the whole boat should disappear in entirety. It would not.
Huh? No. You're a dumbass and geometrically illiterate.
Disappear bottom up.
why not?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, why not? Right. He doesn't. He's just mindlessly parroting this from Reddit. No depth. He doesn't know.
Again, false dichotomy.
Not a false dichotomy.
Cause.
He's implying a cause. I guess you could. That's a reach. He didn't say it, but he's implying one. Okay, I'll give you that.
Also, we haven't really talked about this either, but I brought this fallacy up on a few other debates.
What now?
A reductive logical fallacy.
Oh, God. This guy doesn't know what logical fallacies are. You better get on with the topic, or I'm going to five you.
I should bring it up even more, because that's when you're reducing an argument to a point where you're just ignoring all the variables.
Oh, God. You're getting five.
If examine this each 2 feet right down, and that is an expression on you.
Shut up.
What happened that wave horizon is like theta not. It's
what did he
just
say?
Floating. I mean, he needs to really to understand the difference between a true horizon and a apparent horizon.
Oh, God. Here we go again. Let's see where this leads.
I mean, he needs to really study some of these mirages like Theta Morgana. I mean, boats literally look like they're floating. Obviously, they're not floating.
Obviously. Shut up.
You know, you can look. Is this even understand that?
My question is just
Mind shocking, if you will.
that's where my question is just putting math aside for a second.
Okay.
Well, yeah, but wait a second. What about the Mile High City? Right? Where'd that go?
You want me to explain that to
The
you?
observations that have
Sure.
been made for 2,000 years on this.
Okay, go.
So all these up made 2000, are you sure that it's not 1996 years? No. 1511? It's exactly 2000 years since people have been saying, why are boats disappearing bottom up going over the horizon? Idiot.
Gotcha.
Well,
Do you
hold
want me
on.
to explain that?
Nathan,
Can I
bottom
explain?
up.
Can I
Nathan,
explain? Can I explain that to
Can I
you?
take this one?
I wanted to respond to Nathan's response to me, if I could do that first, because I
Because we're going back to the Mile High City.
Can
think
I
there
can I
was
just
maybe a
address this bottom up
misunderstanding.
obstruction of the boats before you do? So you're describing
No,
something.
I would like to, before we move on to that part, because we're talking about two different
Okay,
observational.
We're two different observations.
What?
Sorry, Josh.
Okay.
Then that's my fault.
Right.
So, okay, address
What
that
the
and then
question-
Nathan right to you,
right.
okay?
The
Sure.
question I asked was on a flat Earth, not on a round Earth. And Nathan, you explained it.
On a flat Earth, not on a round one. Josh, round and flat aren't mutually exclusive. You glue sniffing fungus muncher. You can have a round and flat penny, dime, nickel. You get it. LP, a record, it's round and flat. You see? He wouldn't.
It very well in the sense of a round Earth, 1.1225, right? You explained it on a
1.1225.
round Earth. I asked on a flat Earth, coming from Kansas.
We're coming from Kansas again. Dorothy, coming from Kansas. We're looking up at the Mile High City. You know, in Colorado.
Looking at the edge of the flat Earth towards
Looking at what? What?
what?
Let's do a five. Let's go back. What?
The edge of the flat. It on a round Earth. I asked on a flat Earth, coming from Kansas, looking at the edge of the flat Earth towards the edge of the what? The flat Earth, and I have an elevation of 5,280 feet, and then
Is that the Mile High City?
another elevation of mountains that are 14,000 feet high.
Are they added on to that? So they're actually 19,000 feet?
When should I expect to see them?
I told you how many times? 4 o'clock. Now, if you stop in Goodland for lunch, it'll be 3 o'clock. It's going to be delayed. If you don't stop, it'll be 3 o'clock. If you stop in Goodland, it'll be 4 o'clock.
What edge is he talking about? Does
Who
he just mean
knows?
looking in the distance?
He's a moron.
Like, well, again, I really just should stop trying to understand anything Josh says, but
It took you this long?
yeah.
Okay, I'll try and rephrase what I said about a globe Earth, but to answer your question.
I don't want to hear about a globe Earth.
I know,
want
I'm
to
gonna
know
rephrase what
in
I
the
said about a
perspective of what we
Okay,
should hear
I got
on a
that.
flat Earth. How does that observation
got you,
happen?
I
When
heard.
should I see it?
Thank you. I do need you to stop talking while I answer you, though, if that's okay.
I just want to be clear that we know what we're talking about here in the sense of the
I
question
do, I
being
heard.
asked.
Thank you.
In that sense, in the sense that the question that's being asked, you're talking about the Mile High City coming from Kansas?
Thank you.
Okay, I'll try again.
Mhm.
So you're giving me the height of the mountain in feet, and feet or meters don't change with distance. That's an angular change. So the angle of the mountain would change as you approached it.
I do have to give Nathan Oakley credit here. I mean, he's switched to talking really slow.
Oh, God. Shut up.
This is more useful, obviously, with someone like Whitehead, because, I mean, Josh hasn't really
You're getting
shown
5.
tops here. I mean,
Posed
Oh,
it to
too far.
question, Mal. Not the feet and inches as you've given me in your question, making your question malformed. Now, I've answered your question in regards to why you've posed it to me as well, which is in globe Earth maths, the assertion that 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet will be the limitation of your view to Earth curve obstruction would only have the mountain in feet and inches not change in angular size as you approach it. So based on the information you've given me, I can't take that hypothetical scenario and put a sextant to the mountain to give me its angular size. There's not enough information. It's a malformed question in that regard. But in terms of a globe, I can answer and point out that there's no perspective in the question. But as you're approaching things, they get bigger. Not in Earth curve maths, they don't.
Right. Aspect ratio. I understand that.
That's not an aspect ratio, you ass. You don't understand shit.
I understand what you were saying on the
No, you don't.
on the globe Earth side. And the reason I'm asking this question is because if we assume that the Earth is flat and we do have elevation,
We do have elevate where? To Mile High City?
right, and there is no curvature, then at what distance away from that object, using flat Earth math, would I expect to
Flat Earth math? What the hell is that?
see that?
That's-
And if I
that's
could
an
get
op-
maybe
okay.
after the show when you guys can
Sure,
go out
it's a-
there and calculate
okay,
that, that would
you
be
can-
great to hear that answer. And because what I'm asking actually, Nathan, is
What are you asking? Because we're unsure. Are you asking, coming from Kansas, looking at the Mile High City and the mountains? Is that what you're asking? We're unsure.
an experiment that we can all do.
He thinks it's an experiment to drive from Kansas to Denver and look at the mountains.
Not
We can go
experiment.
to Kansas. I can drive into Denver, and I can test what you guys
The Mile High City?
would postulate would be the actual answer, correct? I
Okay,
mean,
this-
if we know the elevation, if we know the height of the mountain, and I'm coming from Kansas, which is
Oh boy! Listen up! Alert! Listen up!
know the elevation, if we know the height of the mountain, and I'm coming from Kansas, which is roughly sea level. What?
He thinks Kansas, the western border of Kansas is sea level. Oh boy! Like I said, this is the gem from this episode. I think it's not the only one, but I think this one stands out. This crayon crunching clown thinks the elevation, like I said, the western border of Kansas is sea level. You can't make this up, folks. You really can't. If you go in, I'm not going to do it. Just pull up Kansas. Go Google it on Google Earth, and it's like 4,000 feet. But that was classic. What a moron. Do it again.
Mountain would be the actual answer, correct? I
Okay,
mean,
this-
if we know the elevation, if we know the height of the mountain, and I'm coming from Kansas, which is roughly sea level, okay? And I know I'm using globe Earth terms there, Nathan. I understand.
He's using globe Earth terms.
Sea level's
I'm
not a
coming
globe
from-
Earth term.
We should know that when we should see the mountains and Denver.
4 o'clock, I told you. That's if you stop for lunch. 3 o'clock if you just run right through and don't stop at Goodland.
Okay.
On a flat Earth.
I got it.
And
I
that's
got
what I'm
it.
saying.
I
is
got it.
If I wanted to test that out,
I got it the first time, the second time, and the third time. Thank you. But
well, I'm glad it.
sure.
I'm
But
glad
you're,
you got
you're
it all
asking a
3 times.
question in regards to the optics of vision, and you can calculate where things disappear into the distance in terms of diffraction with the Rayleigh criterion, if you want to look that up. But in terms of that claim, I don't need to answer it because there's no positive assertion from me that needs to explain this on a flat Earth because I'm not using it as a claim. The claim, the positive assertion that does use the horizon, is Earth curve, but we can debunk it by showing imagery that demonstrates the horizon Earth curve.
All right, let me interrupt
Oh, God.
Oakley here. From strictly yes, because in that argument, you
Can you even speak?
could say that's accurate. However,
You could say that it's accurate, but however. Now, not only one however, but two howevers.
this would also be fallacious because
What?
Josh, mentally disabled or not,
Oh,
is simply
God.
asking what would it look like on a flat Earth, the answer is easy. You don't need to say, okay, it's a malformed question, this or
It is a malformed question. It's idiotic. It's not fallacious.
this, even if it is. I mean, all these
It is.
semantics games are just
It's not semantics games. He's not using semantics, unlike you and your semantics games that you had in the beginning, part 1 and part 2, where you posted all your semantics games and I cold-cocked them. You idiot. You better get to some kind of coherent point quick. Or I'm going to 5 your dumb ass again.
taking away from the discussion here, from the debate of keeping it concise.
Well,
He could have just said,
you're getting
"Any
5.
day you see outside." Now, if even it, what your state
then that hit curve beyond where it is capable of being in a physical term. So if Earth curve, as in the maths, is a hill in the way of this mountain in the distance, then that hill is at a fixed position. The hill being Earth curve in the way, blocking your view of the mountain in the distance. Well, that's all your positive globe Earth claim that we can debunk, not something that needs a burden of proof reversal fallacy using to get me to justify something that fails as a globe Earth claim. So meanwhile, to go to David's question, in terms of why the boat disappears bottom first, if you'll beg my indulgence, David, I'll take you through an example of why that happens. If I take a brick and put it a few feet away from you, you'd concede that you can see the brick, right? Hopefully you don't need to answer, you just say yes. But if I take that brick and put it, let's just say about a mile away, would you concede that you can just about make out the brick?
What? You're talking about just like a regular brick, not a block? A mile away, I'll tell you what. I don't think you're going to see a brick or a block for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if I take that same brick,
They have to be up on a hill, even then. But my eyes are getting old. I still don't think you could see it. Let's try it. Somebody do it.
and put it 4 miles away, so you can see it moving towards the horizon, getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and then disappearing from view. Would you concede that at 4 miles, a brick's too small to see?
Yeah, I guess because it depends on the field of vision, right? Yeah, I get.
It depends on the field of it. No, it doesn't. You're not going to see no brick at 4 miles. Like I said, you're not going to see it at 1 mile.
Where you're going, but why does it not disappear?
I've got. You just have to go with me. I beg your indulgence.
Okay, I'll go with you. I'll go with you.
Yeah, okay, I'm nearly there. So at 4 miles, you would concede a brick's too small to see. It's disappeared into the horizon because it's too small. Now, if I put 1 million other bricks on top of that brick and make a high-rise skyscraper, would you concede that you can see the high-rise skyscraper at 4 miles, but the brick at the bottom is still too small to see?
This analogy is it's too high of analogy for these. You shouldn't even have brought that up. It's not happening, right? And there's a couple caveats to that. I won't get into it here.
Right, but we're not building bricks when we're talking about a moving object.
Dude, it's saying that they're lost. You put them in the analogy, and they're gonna say, "Oh, it's a false equivalence." It's just gonna happen. Just a poor choice on that one, and for this audience.
Object on the top of the water like a boat.
Yeah, and if the Earth was a sphere radius 3959, every distance to that obstruction to the boat could be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, and we can fundamentally debunk that claim by showing imagery that has a hill claimed.
Why is that dinged? He could fundamentally destroy that claim. You need to keep up to date with the flat Earth debate, MindStomp.
To be Earth curve at the horizon beyond the things it's supposed to be blocking. So we can debunk that claim in geometry. But the claim,
That's not a ding.
in
No, I
terms
mean,
of
in reality,
explanation, I
Nathan,
can
in
explain
reality.
why things disappear
In the real
bottom up.
world.
I can explain why things disappear bottom up at the.
You should have just went with the acuteness of the angle. Even then, I don't think it had got through to him. Right? So, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't on this one.
Horizon by taking you through the thought experiment of getting a brick to be too small to see and then putting other bricks on top of it that you can see. The bottom brick's still not visible.
This is a non-congruent argument,
Not a non-congruent argument. You dumbass.
even though what he said is technically true.
Even though what he said is technically true.
What?
Because a boat is not a giant skyscraper. And
I told you. It even stumped MindStomp. You can't do that. You can't do that with this audience. That's too high a level. That's about 6th grade. These idiots are down in 1st, 2nd grade vicinity. Perhaps preschool. So this was a train wreck.
and he's talking about an object slowly moving away.
Oh, brother.
The answer here, of course, is not just that waves.
Oh God, is he going to talk about the true horizon again? Let's see. I'm going to 5 you if you do, you knuckle dragger.
Exist in the ocean. I don't know how many people aren't aware of that. It's not just that waves exist. Because obviously, if the waves are really big, you're not going to see a little rowboat really far away. Or even a bigger boat, depending on the distance and the size of the waves, right? If the waves are really, really tiny, on a day when the waves are much smaller, you will see some of the boat, right? Because the waves aren't blocking it.
That depends on how far away the boat is. And where you're at, what elevation you're at. There's a lot of other factors here, idiot.
There's only two things at play here. The waves in the way and the Atmos condition. If you don't want to...
It's not the Atmos condition and your height. That's the two conditions, not the Atmo. Is he going to say precipitation? I'll slap you if you do.
Use the word atmosphere. The Atmos conditions. The conditions of the level of humidity and all of these things. The amount of precipitation in the air.
That's it. 5.
That's
you
causing
clown.
3 are precipitation here. Touching the literally about it into the horizon.
Is missing the bottom brick. Doesn't mean it's obscured by Earth curve at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, though. We can debunk that.
It's
Okay,
true,
but then
David.
we're bringing the bleak test.
If you don't
I'm
mind,
going to keep this on mute, and feel free to talk while this is playing in the background, just for people watching, so that you have a different example here to talk
So
about this.
now we're on to another Reddit claim.
Go ahead, Patrick.
So what I want to point out is that you asked the question about looking out into the water and how a boat disappears from the bottom up. When you zoom in on that boat after it has disappeared from the bottom up, you can reacquire it in its entirety.
Sometimes. But all you need is one time. But that claim is incorrect. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. I mean, there's a lot of examples of that, for sure. But not every single time. But all you need is one. Everyone follow that, hopefully?
Via telescope. Okay. If you're able to reacquire the bottom of the boat by telescopy, then
Can
it
you do it?
follows. Say again?
Have you done it?
Yes.
You can find countless videos of people doing
Not
just
videos.
this.
I meant like you've seen it.
Not videos. What? Like not one of your videos that you have up? What renders null the point about bringing boats back on a video? What renders the point that you could bring the boat back? Is it the video? You fucking glue sniffing fungus muncher, Denise, you dumbass. While he's showing a video, unbelievable.
Have I personally? Yes, I've watched others do it.
On video?
Yeah, on video. There's hundreds, maybe, I don't want to say thousands, but through the years, yeah, I have a ton of them.
Yes, on video.
I'm just clear. I'm not trying to find I'm just literally asking. I'm just curious. That's all.
Who cares? Yeah, it's on video. So what?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
The ability. So I just want to make sure this is very plain. You watch a vessel of some kind in the distance. Your eye perceives it to be disappearing bottom up.
And just another example of true horizon versus apparent horizon.
Oh, God, you clown. 5.
Agent either. Pick argument. He used David
Shut
White
up.
there, like, we're down simple. All the examples
Shut
of
up.
flat Earth, but I even hundreds of years. Just
It just
but
won't
it's just,
shut up.
look, most rocket. Who's been even just fogs is the globe that doesn't sure you're not, and it's just your lake.
Oh, my
Is
God.
going to be
Oh, we got
because
him.
it's the thought of a globe earther is going to be the curvature of the Earth is beginning to obscure the bottom of that boat from because it's curved and because the boat is going away. Now, the moment you use some kind of telescope or P900 camera to reacquire the boat in its entirety, you have disproven the notion that it was going over the curve in that instance.
Exactly. That's a very good point. Very easy to understand. Everyone got that? If you could follow me here, you understood.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense, and I understand the claim.
No, you don't.
I'm incredulous to the point that has in fact been done.
He's incredulous to the point that videos showing boats being brought back when they've disappeared bottom up has happened. Boats being brought back by cameras. He's never seen that. He's been out here since what? What did he say? 2014? How many have you seen of that exact fact? How many videos have you seen of boats being brought back? He hasn't seen any. He finds it incredulous. You know why? I'm going to tell you why. Because he spent 20 minutes on Reddit, and he's mindlessly parroting Reddit claims. That's why. He's guilty. That's what I'm telling you, folks. It's been this whole deal. He's a moron.
Okay. When you have seen that it has been done over and over and over again, we'll talk about it after that. And I would challenge.
And right here in the video, you see where the purported horizon is, where it looks like...
Why are you talking about horizons in this video? We're talking about the other... He's just playing this video in the background and he hasn't got to it yet. Are you going to call this a true horizon, you idiot?
It is. That's actually not the real horizon. Now, I'm not claiming to know what the real horizon is.
He's not claiming what the real horizon is, but that ain't it. Shut up. I'm going to five you.
It's just conditions of those free to extreme.
Shut up.
Absolutely
Shut up.
distant.
Watched people with P900 cameras doing this over and over again. It's pretty intense stuff.
David thinks this is a blink test. But I digress. Let's get back to the other point.
So this is the counter. Comes from Red's rhetoric, I'm sure.
How does this counter the point about bringing boats back as you've watched them disappear over your horizon and then using a P900 to bring them back? How does this right here counter that? Why, if you would have brought up a watermelon, it would have been more relevant. Goodness gracious.
I'm sure you're familiar.
Again, that's not the counter because it does not account for true horizon.
Oh, God, you're getting fived.
With blink test
Sorry about
missing.
that. Let's go back.
And this video was shot P900, clear day, and he's showing you the images put on top with the bottom missing over the distance, right?
Yeah, he's moved the camera back and decreased the distance. This isn't a blink test, you idiot.
So this is what the blink test experiment.
He goes a blink test experiment. Listen.
Missing over the distance, right? So this is what the blink test experiment is.
What?
It's not a blink test, and it's most assuredly not an experiment, you clown.
And it's very effective at actually speaking to that claim.
Wasn't this a Red's pretenderic nonsense back in the day? I remember seeing this. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. So I'm just wondering if I'm trying to think of because we're
Nathan, I think you're on mute. I don't think you could talk.
Talking about a lot of things here. But
yes, we're talking about a lot of things here. Yes.
What kind of practical experiments could you have?
He's on this experiment thing still.
What?
Me, Josh, say we go to, I guess they're putting together some of these awesome Badlands events that we're all going to actually physically meet each other. That should be great. I'm thinking, well, hey,
Is he going to have his helmet on? And is he going to drive his big wheel to this?
I make it down there in April, let's say whenever that is. And
you make it down in April, let's say whenever that is. Isn't it in April? Unbelievable.
I was going to ask Josh because I know Josh had a few experiment ideas as well.
I'm sure he does. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, you wouldn't know what science was if it climbed up both your collective asses and started kicking footballs wrapped in Carolina Reaper lace concertina wire. And it's been demonstrated over and over and over again, along with MindStomp. His science acumen's the same place. Over and over and over again. What are you talking about? You're in a category here, you dumbass.
That we could do together. We could bring some flat Earth proponents, yourselves. We could come and together we could.
Oh, we don't need to do that. He's already debunked the globetard quite a number of times, but 8 or 9 times during why are you trying to promote more tests? It's already over. It was over in 2016. Idiot.
Do a series of experiments, and that
Here we go back with the experiments again.
What?
blink test would be
That's not a blink test, you moron.
one of them, as well as what Josh was saying with Denver. And then
You mean the Mile High City? With Kansas at sea level.
I do have a few others that have to do with the sun and some other
What? Let's do the sun. What experiments do we have with that?
things. But do you have a video, Patrick, to show what you're talking about?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I have tons of videos. I made them all in like little clips of Taboo Conspiracy and his wife taking enormous distance shots with the.
Yeah, he's talking about boats, though. You know, the typical ones, boats going over, or what they appear to go over the horizon, quote unquote, and are brought back. We've all seen them. There's hundreds of them, probably high hundreds now out there.
The P900 camera, showing that the Earth is completely flat over distances with no curvature obscuring anything. People do it all the time. They also use telescoping lenses to reacquire things that have visually disappeared from the bottom up. I didn't like clip one of those.
That's okay.
For the video.
And you know what? Maybe we don't have to. I just want to give you the opportunity. I was just thinking this would be a good experiment that we could.
Not an experiment, you idiot. There's hundreds of them out there, dude. And he hasn't come across a single one since 2014. All the flat earth discussions and debates, he's never seen that happen, folks. He's a fraud. He's just mindlessly parroting Reddit from 2015. You can hear it in all his claims.
Could do in real reality together.
Real reality as opposed to unreal reality?
What?
Can I address that?
We could verify because we're just talking. I want to see it with my own eyes because isn't that what this is? Is
Please,
observing
I
yourself.
beg of you,
the
can I
truth
address
about
that?
this?
So a couple of things. The red rhetoric thing. So in Earth curve maths, which is where the assertion comes from that the horizon's blocking the view of the buildings, there's no account for angular descriptions in that maths. So the
I'd be curious what he would say to you on that.
Well, you would be curious to hear what Red's Pretenderic would say to, it wouldn't matter what he said. Are you a moron? Just pull up the globe Earth curve calculator and find angular size change in them. Anywhere. In any of them. It's not there, you dumbass cracker. We don't care what Red's Pretenderic says. He's about as dumb as you are. My word. Look, he's all proud of it, too.
Again?
I said I would be curious to see what Red would say to you on that.
Okay.
Go ahead and continue.
It's not really about Red's opinion. It's more about the way it works. I mean, if again,
It's just 'cause it's his
just
experiment.
two
That's
things
why
I want to
you're
address.
critiquing it, I'm
There's
sure
just
you
a couple of things I want to address. So the first is the red rhetoric thing, but then
You've already explained it to him how many times that they hijack perspective. There is no account for angular size change. You must have, I heard at least 5 times, at least that many. He hasn't got it. He's not getting it.
I do want to cover this experiment idea. Great idea. But I do want to get to that more importantly. But the red rhetoric thing, if you're looking at the building from the base of the building, you appreciate that you've got a very wide angle to the building. You'd have to literally arc the camera up. And as you back away from the building, you'll arc your camera down again. In other words, there's an angular relationship that's going on here. But in the assertions that the horizon's blocking the bottom of the building, it's not accounting for angles. It's not accounting for angular size. It's not accounting for
but those
perspective.
experiments do account for those angles.
He thinks that was an experiment and that they do account for angles. Show.
That's the thing. In those
That's not the thing. The thing is that you're a pretender clown, numpty dipshit fraud that just has superficial knowledge of Reddit threads from 2015.
videos and they show you exactly how it's done, they absolutely do account for those angles.
What?
Can you show me that in Walter Bislin's maths, please?
Don't. It's showtime, dumbass.
I'm not talking about Walter Bismarck, I'm talking about Red's rhetoric.
Walter Bislin and Red's pretend there's not philosophies and shit. We're talking geometry here, dumbass. My God.
In his videos
he
and his
uses Walter
experiments,
Bismarck.
where he
I've had
takes
plenty
those
of interactions.
cameras, he takes the P900.
I've had plenty of interactions with Red's rhetoric as well. Red's
I know,
rhetoric.
I've heard them.
You've heard interactions with Red's rhetoric from Nathan, and let's get that again. Let's see. Watch him.
His videos
he
and his
uses Walter
experiments.
Bismarck. I've had plenty of interactions.
He takes the P900.
I've had plenty of interactions with Red's rhetoric as well. Red's rhetoric.
I know, I've heard them.
Oh, I know, I've heard them. Really? I'd like to hear them. Can you produce those? Look at this. Worthless. You're a fucking piece of shit, man. You're lying. Aren't you, Nancy? I'm sorry, Denise. I get them confused. You lying piece of shit. Until you can produce those there, Denise, you're a scumbag. Yep.
Red's rhetoric's maths.
Look at him.
Is the same as Walter Bislin's. It's, as I said earlier, the globe Earth maths.
The globe Earth maths. Not people. The definite article. Globe Earth maths, you moron.
Not more than one.
Yeah.
That's it. They're all using the same maths. Okay. So there is...
What's he laughing at? You looking down? Yeah, I can only imagine why you're laughing.
no account for angular anything in globe Earth maths. None.
You'd figure he'd know that, but not from the superficial headline Reddit forums. He ain't gonna know that, and he's not paying attention to you anyway.
Okay? It's a
That's a
10-foot
claim.
wall at any...
That's not a claim, you moron. That's a fact.
I
God.
don't think that Red would agree with you on that.
He doesn't think what a complete stranger would agree or disagree with Nathan on in a category error. That's where we're at.
And it's his experiment, so I'd be curious.
Yeah, he thinks it's an experiment too. He needs to be institutionalized.
And that's why I want us to do it.
Look at Nathan.
We do it
Right.
instead of
Okay,
talking about other people's
that was
experiments.
the first thing. Okay,
That
we
would
can just
change
defer to
the entire
Red.
discussion.
Okay, there was two things, though. That was the first. So Red...
Get to the second then.
Yeah, the second was knowing what science is. So you're under the misapprehension. Please don't get triggered in the middle of what I'm telling you. That this is an experiment. But it isn't. Now,
It's not a blink test either, you douchebag.
the way we've been hoodwinked into believing that we're on a sphere is by people telling you that they've got experiments or science or theories. I beg your indulgence to just let me say this. Thank you. So that magic trick has been planted into you from a very early age, about 5th grade, where they taught you what the scientific method actually was and how the method offers empiricism through the method described to you in the, whatever you want to call it, the pre-show. I.e., if A, then B, or if A, not B, alternative and null hypothesis validated by experiment to give you an empirical outcome. Only one can be true. So therefore science, and in this case experiment, offers an empirical outcome. So when you hear the word experiment, in this case referenced incorrectly to a blink test, the audience will hear empirical, because that's what they've been trained from a very early age. However, an experiment is to establish the cause of a naturally occurring phenomena through systematic experimentation based on a valid hypothesis. Now, this doesn't have that. There is no naturally occurring phenomena here to study. Nothing's occurring in nature. You're talking about a comparison with a varying angle from two different lens positions. That's not a naturally occurring phenomena to science. This is outside the purview of science. But understanding what science actually is the key to understanding how you've been deceived into believing that you're on a model.
Yeah, that's a very interesting monologue there. So,
Yeah, everything is exactly correct. Yeah, it's not a blink test either.
I'm going to unpack this in MindShock fashion.
Oh, God, not again. We're not going to play any of your semantics games again. You say anything stupid, you're getting fived.
So,
something that I already debunked your dumb ass on? Go ahead, I triple dog dare you.
Okay. I believe that is a fallacy. That's a non.
I believe he accepts without evidence that that is a fallacy. What is a fallacy? He spoke on many different aspects of a single topic.
An argument because Nathan Oakley is presupposing there's only one very, very clearly defined definition of science.
Oh, God, you're getting fived, you dumbass. I already debunked you.
No,
Shut up.
Biology.
What'd you say?
Is not a word, science, whatever, translated from older words. The definition is not 100% clear like that. It's a methodology.
Called a sphere that was derived from flat Earth elevation.
Hold on, folks. I thought I heard him say something else. 1 second. We're going to go back just a little bit.
Very, very clearly defined definition of science. Now, to the degree of the definition, he's correct. There's, it's not like you can make a more generalized definition encompassing things that don't have dependent and independent variables.
Shut
and
up.
controls. However, the definition of science, the word science, whatever, translated from older words.
God.
The definition is not
He just invoked an entomological fallacy, by the way.
100% clear like that. It's a methodology.
Called a sphere that was derived from flat Earth elevation angle measurements to Polaris to give you latitude. Understanding
So I shouldn't
science
trust
is the
my
key.
own eyes, Nathan. Are you telling me this?
So his response to Nathan after the whole explanation is you can't trust your own eyes. That's what he got out of what Nathan said. A true retard.
Sorry?
Should I not trust my own eyes?
What do you mean, trust your own eyes?
Should I trust my eyes?
I don't know what you mean.
So again, if we use a very generic definition like science is a systemic endeavor,
God. Now we're going with the semantics games that I've debunked back in part 1. You friggin' bozo.
builds an order, or conversely from Oxford, and the testing of theories against the scientific method. You want to test the way human eyes, this is all some computer program or something, and we're not actually natural. Vision works. One could technology and optics and wouldn't see. You can make experiments. Out in a fog, you can't see. You're basically hypothesizing. On a cloudy, rainy day, see farther and all out and make these and you can conduct these experiments. You can make this experiment about things that are not necessarily natural. Like you can use a building in the distance and make scientific experiments about things that all of these things. And so you can make scientific experiments about things that are not necessarily natural. Like you can use a building.
What a clown. Sure. Yeah. And Penelope Pitstop was Bruce Lee's grandfather.
In the distance to make this experiment on whether or not precipitation affects visibility.
Oh, God, he's back on his precipitation nonsense.
That would still be scientific. It doesn't have to be 100% in the natural world.
Yeah, no, natural science, it doesn't have to be 100% in the natural world, folks. What an ass clown.
And so, yeah, I mean, this is a false dichotomy and non-congruent argument.
It's not either. You're a dumbass.
Nathan Oakley. And I think he did it. I think he did it intentionally, too. I mean, the guy.
Oh, God, he's divining Nathan's intents now.
He's obviously enjoying his trolling, even while he's also spewing very accurate information.
Oh, so it's very accurate, but he's incorrect. You fucking clown.
It's not necessarily non-fallacious because of the things I just outlined.
Brother.
It's a simple
Yes,
question.
you should trust your own eyes, which show you obviously that you can see.
I think I missed something in there. Sorry, folks. I'm going to go back. There was something that I wanted to really expose him on. let's see. Yeah, be patient. Just humor me.
Can't see things. You make that because you're out in a. I mean, and it is not one could, but human vision, and we're not actually natural reality. That's one thing. I want to believe this is all some computer. So we're gonna get because if you want to test, not like you can. And this should be done in accordance with theories against the observation of from Oxford, the systematic study predictions about builds and use a very generic definition like science.
Sorry, folks. We're gonna have to listen through this because there's something that he says, and I haven't heard it yet. So just entertain
systemic endeavor that builds and organizes knowledge.
That's
Firstly,
bullshit.
from Oxford, the systematic study of the structure
That's
through
bullshit.
observation, experimentation, and the testing of theories against the
Dude,
evidence.
you don't test
obtained.
theories. I already exposed you.
And again, this should be done in accordance with the
Shut
scientific
up.
method. It's not like you can't do that for observing a building. Because if you want to test.
What's observing a building? So observing a building. This isn't it, by the way, but observing a building. That's your dependent variable, right? Now you need to find the independent variable. So the building, you just observed it. That's the effect. What's the cause of the building, people? You clown mind dump.
The way human eyes work.
Oh, God.
So we're going for some kind of holographic reality. That's another thing. But human vision, the way human and it is natural, biology and optics.
Oh,
so you can make scientific experiments based on what you would and wouldn't see. You can make experiments.
You can make
Like you can have-
experiments on things you would and wouldn't see.
A hypothesis that because you're out in a fog, you're basically hypothesizing if there's more precipitation.
Oh,
there's-
God.
Like what about an all-out monsoon? Can you really see fog? Hypothesis, and you can make these and you can conduct these experiments in a. You can make scientific experiments about things that are not necessarily natural, like radiation affects visibility. That would still be scientific. It doesn't have to be. So, yeah, I mean, this is a false dichotomy and non-congruent argument
No,
by
it's not.
Nathan
You're an
Oakley.
idiot.
And I think he did it. I think he did it intentionally, too. I mean, the guy's obviously enjoying.
Divining motives and shit. We already been through this. I may have missed it. I won't go back through it again.
It's not necessarily non-fallacious because of the things I.
Shut
that
up.
you can see further than you'd be able to see on a sphere.
But I disagree because that's not what I'm seeing.
What are you
Meaning
seeing?
what?
We're looking for
I'm
evidence.
showing-
We're looking
no,
for
no, I'm
evidence.
telling you, I'm seeing things disappear bottom up, and I'm seeing that there's an issue with the.
He should have asked David Whitehead if train tracks touch in the distance. Can you trust your eyes? Do train tracks touch in the distance?
That would be okay in this context. I'll give you that one. Okay, that would have been a good one.
Because this is a logical fallacy on Whitehead's part.
Which logical fallacy is that?
I mean, this is actually a stack of fallacies, including false.
False dichotomy? What's the dichotomy? This is his favorite. He's always false dichotomy. Really? What's the dichotomy? Let's see the two choices.
Dichotomies and hasty generalizations.
Shut up.
Yes, because he's trying to link it to empiricism, what you can act,
Shut
seeing
up.
is believing. Of course, a better saying is believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see.
What is this argument by cliche? I would contend that that's even worse than logical fallacies, you glue-sniffing fungus muncher.
But anyway, this is Whitehead's misunderstanding. It's not that simple, of course. The scientific method, identifying variables and controls, is so important. Yes, that is what you are seeing.
Shut up.
This is what makes the whole thing so funny. What you're seeing.
Works with the
Gotcha.
human eye related to reality,
Okay.
right? So I'm just the reason I'm asking this question is because this is a sticking point in the flat Earth debate. Is can we trust our eyes and our senses?
Is this a sticking point in flat Earth debate? What? Maybe this was like a sticking point in 2015 on Reddit. That's not a sticking point, you idiot.
And is it okay to employ different tools that can
Is it okay to employ different? He's going to contradict himself again.
see farther, that can measure farther, or should we only rely on our eyes?
This is so mind-numbing incoherent. He just admitted on the last episode, what did he call the P900 or the P1000? Right? the flat earther's favorite camera. I don't know. Is that an instrument that you use to view things? That's what it sounds like to me. Now he's portraying, because he got this from Reddit, that flat earthers are somehow only using their eyes and they disallow any instrumentation. He's on this thing from Reddit, which is moronic. But he contradicted himself already by saying the flat earther's favorite camera is the P900. You can't make this shit up, folks.
And our senses only.
I don't really understand the question 100%, but I'd like to.
Well, yeah, because he's contradicting himself. And this is like 2023, and when they made this video, it was 2023, right? Yeah, moron, Denise.
Address one thing that you mentioned, and I've said it already, and I apologize for saying it again. But the fact is that when you look at an object disappearing to your eye from the bottom up, and then are able to use instrumentation to reacquire it entirely, that
So we can use.
falsifies-
Okay, that's the answer.
Well, that's the answer to him. That's the answer to his question, because Patrick's using instrumentation to bring it back. That's the answer to David. It's okay now that we can use instrumentation. You moron of a dumbass. Look at him. You are retarded. You contradictory retard. My God.
Yes,
That's the answer. We can use instrumentation. Great.
Look at him. That's the answer. We can all go home now. We can use instrumentation. You fucking glue sniffer. What an ass clown you are.
May I?
Yeah, go
Please.
ahead.
When
He isn't going to understand. You already told him 3 times. He doesn't get it. As long as we can use instrumentation, we're good. Look at Nathan over there laughing at him. Fucking bozo. Denise. Well, at least we haven't heard, from the spider monkey for a while. That's kind of cool. Keep shutting up.
When you reacquire it using instrumentation, it is important to acknowledge that you have falsified the notion that it was disappearing over the curve of a presupposed spherical Earth. I'd like you to just agree to that, because that's the kind of thing that we're going to be testing.
I don't think he can do it. Let's see if he can understand what you said.
So you're saying that if
So he's got to clarify it, proving he's a retard.
we go and we find the right thing to
Instruments.
view, right?
Thanks. Not find the right instrument, you dumbass. Shut up.
Telescope is
Then
fine.
if we do a telescope or a P900 or whatever your favorite camera would be,
You know what the flat Earth favorite camera would be? You mentioned it earlier. Fucking retard.
right?
Mhm.
If we see something going over the horizon and then you can bring it back.
Yeah,
Like-
like and MindStump's going to be showing some of these videos while he's saying it.
Zooming in, you're saying that's the proof, right?
That's the proof. What the?
What?
Yeah, you clearly understood this.
I'm having trouble with this because Whitehead said that he's been obsessed. Is that the word he used? Obsessed or interested in flat Earth debate for years? And he hasn't seen what is probably the #1 proof brought up countless times on countless debates and almost every single generic flat Earth video on the topic. I mean, I'm going to have to appeal to incredulity here myself. I'm committing a logical fallacy. I'm appealing to incredulity.
You're not. That's not a lot. Oh my God. Just shut up. Well, he can't shut up. Let's let him go.
This doesn't seem. It seems off. This is going to tip me into believing David Whitehead is some kind of a shill.
Oh God. Now we're going in. No, he's just a dumb fuck. He's what I told you. All he's been doing the whole time. I figured him out. I marked him in the beginning. All he's doing is parroting the headlines from a Reddit thread that he came by from 2015. It's obvious. Listen to his claims. This shouldn't surprise you that he hasn't seen this.
But on the other hand, does it really look like he's playing stupid? I don't think so.
He's not playing stupid. He is. Like you.
So this is just very puzzling to me. I mean, how is it?
MindStump is puzzled by this. Unbelievable.
Possible that he's watched all these countless debates for countless hours over all these years that Flat Earth has been all over the internet. Whatever, 7 years or more that it's been extremely, I mean, obviously more, but that it's been really, really popular for at least 7 years now. I mean, this is insane. I'm appealing to incredulity.
It's not insane. He's just lying. He's lying. That's as simple as he's a liar.
Does David Whitehead not know what is probably the #1 most cited piece of evidence by Flat Earth? I don't know what to make of this whole debate. I mean,
You see this, Denise? It's disappearing bottom up. You see that? Knuckle dragger. Then it's going to disappear completely.
really, this one's unique, I have to say.
See? But we've seen the bottom of it. You follow that? Probably not. You're going to need Josh's fleet of slobber nurses to explain it to you. You fraud. So we just busted you. You're a liar.
That would be
I'm
the
saying-
experiment we're testing.
It's not an experiment.
I'm going to repeat what I said, and then you'll tell me because that's not what I said. I said that falsifies the supposition that it was disappearing bottom up due to going over a presupposed spherical Earth.
Well, it depends on the
Right.
size, though. He should have.
Doesn't depend on the size. Shut up.
He could have made that a little bit
Shut
more
the-
main
Okay, yeah, no, that's we do. Yeah.
position on the
Shut up.
presupposed.
Shut up.
Okay, yeah, no, that's what I meant. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So that would be the experiment we could do.
It's not an experiment. You're a doofus.
That could be one of the experiments we do. And we
not an
could get one of
experiment.
these back.
It's not. Patrick's saying it's not an experiment. He said experiment like 4 times.
It'd be more appropriate to call it a demonstration.
Sure, demonstration, whatever word you want, right?
No, not whatever words we want, you moron. So he brings up an Amazon page with the Q-36 explosive space modulator on it. Is there a reason for this?
This is the baby that I'm
Words are
going to be
important.
picking up.
Experiment is very, very
Celestron.
specific.
That Patrick's trying to tell him about experiment, but you know Denise is off in La La Land with his new Celestron Q-36 explosive space modulator that he's going to purchase. Oh God.
Okay. Yeah, Celestron Next Gen 6SE telescope. I'm getting it because it's one of the cheaper ones, actually.
Oh God, this is really important.
And I'm going to be planning on making observations of celestial objects.
But you're going to do this by yourself? I think that's a bridge too far there, Sunshine.
But you can also use this along with multiple cameras, and you can get different kinds of cameras.
Multiple Let's use all the cameras.
Just to sort of like include every possible viewing angle that we could imagine.
Oh, God. Gag me with a spoon. You better get off of this quick, Denise.
We could try to make observations like that, right?
Absolutely. Hell yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely. That would be great fun. Another thing, and so that's the curvature stuff, and that's the only claim we got to today. The heliocentric model makes a bunch more claims that are.
Now we got to other points, like the no point, the curvature point. That's a no point. Remember that?
Evidence free.
Can I run one by you real quick, Patrick? And
Oh, brother.
Nathan, feel free to jump in.
Well, he's on mute, isn't he?
Is you're going to do anyways, which is fine. Another experiment we could do is
He just can't. He just can't help himself. Even after it's been explained to him at least 5 times, 3 times in depth, all he can do is experiment. It just doesn't work. He's Dunning-Kruger delusional. It's not going to work. Not going to happen.
by bringing in the sun. Okay.
Now we're going to do experiments on the sun.
So this is a personal observation that I've made many times. And my question would be,
okay, listen to this one.
if the Earth is flat,
This is actually relatively palatable with
It's really stupid. Shut up.
Josh not talking.
Oh, yeah, it is. It is better. Forgive me, you're right. Now shut up.
how could we have complete darkness?
So this is his listen to his premise closely. How can we have complete darkness
on one half of the planet and light on the other half of the planet?
Okay, that's a claim, right? You'd think.
If the sun would be required to move away from us,
If the sun would be required to move away. What?
as opposed to circumnavigating us, or
Wouldn't it be moving away from us when it's what the hell is what the hell were you doing with your hand? This is just stupid right off the bat.
going around us, right on the. On the
We
model.
d-
So
we
I just
never
want to
have
ask.
to start this
This,
on the
this is the question.
Yeah, he's going to interrupt you. Now we get to the question. Wasn't that the question? You would think, but no, that's not the question. Here's the question.
And then go ahead. Does the angular size of the sun change throughout the day?
His initial question, which he thinks is a premise, he thinks that's the premise to this question, to this idiotic question. It's mind-numbing. Denise is that retarded. I can't. I got to take a break, man. It's starting to really fucking aggravate me. All right. We still got people out here. We do. Hey, we got super chat, super fluid, super mullet. Billy Philly. Oh, we already did that. Hey, James. Good to see you again, man. I haven't seen you. I said this a number of times. I haven't seen you at a coon's age, man. You must be working your tail off. That's my only conclusion. Thanks. You said good day all. Thumbs up, hell to all the FE members. You too, James. Hope you and yours are well, sir. And we have James Richard. Haven't seen you either. Where you been? He says you can't zoom in and see through a hill. WTF? I agree. And James again. Appreciate it now. If Nathan made any noise with his mouth, this clown would immediately start yapping and yeah, he would. He does it the whole way through, James. Yep. Oh, man. Thanks for the super chat, guys. Appreciate that. I just need to take just a couple minutes. We'll just do it in place. You can only take so much stupidity at once. Don't leave. You know, guys don't need to leave. We're going to get right back to it. Relax. I know your attention span can't last that long. Get the Adderall drip out. Try to central line it. Hey, what's up, Twit? What? Yeah, I haven't seen you in a while either. Where you been? You been on holiday? Christmas is just the 25th. We could do the school thing, you know, December 21st through January 5th or 6th. That's it. That's Christmas holidays. That's it. You got to be back after that. No questions asked. There's no extensions either. What time? Oh, you know what? We've been going for over 2 hours. It doesn't feel like that. Does it? Oh, I'm starting to get a little sore there, people. I think it's the weather. It's just damp and icy and stuff. When you get to be my age, God, I hate saying that. I'm trying to work out like a madman every day. It just gets harder and harder when you get older. You're trying to beat back the second law of thermodynamics. It just hits harder. It's not 4 more hours either, Dr. Law. Damn. I'm 6:09. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna throw you a curveball. Yoga's not gonna help. Oh. What's Skeptic 936? He says, what's ice, Cutie? That's easy. Water. Now, I know I'm wrong. Let me take that back. This is my real answer. Ice is light. There you go. That's the correct answer. Go ask Wetsit. He'll tell you. A super chat, super fluid, super molid, super computer. Here's one for the pain, QE. I feel for you. Thanks, James. Appreciate that, man. Do the archery leagues do testing for roids or human growth hormone? That's classic into the break. I love where your mind's at. Touche, man. Touche. Good one. I was going to stop it, but you guys are pretty sharp here today. I was going to go ahead and just stop it for the evening, but I'm not. That was really good. I'm going to continue because of that. Because of the comments. That was pretty darn good. I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due, and that's not lost on me. So we'll take another minute here. I'll tell you what, give me about 90 seconds and don't be a wise ass and time me, right? And I'll be right back, and then we'll jump right back into it again. All right? See you then. All right, I'm back. Super fluid, super chat, super molded. That caught me off guard, by the way. Skeptic 936, 4 more hours. Ain't gonna friggin' happen. No damn way. I should have never came up with that saying. You know that? I should have just left it go, right? All right. Let's get this. Like I said, I promise we'll keep going, so we'll keep going for a little while longer. Get some context. Remember, his premise was incoherent. That he thinks is a separate question from the doofusness. Like I said, what does the sun change angular size? Like it has any point. It's irrelevant to the point of the Earth. Having a shape or an aspect, it's totally irrelevant. He's just, like I said, he's just getting it from Reddit from 2015. These are the same things you heard or they heard back in 2015, right? That's where we're at. It's really non sequitur. Denise is really stupid.
Okay. Now, it's very important to note that I'm not claiming any of these. I'm not making claims about this. But one can observe on a very, very clear day the sun getting smaller and smaller in deserts. Now,
when I reviewed this video initially, I posted, if you go back to those videos, you can see where I debunked this horseshit. Not that it means anything. Where Chris Van Maitre, years and years ago, did this, and he showed how the sun changes its angular size throughout the day and year. Solar filter, everything. He put it out, and you would think that would just, most of the baltards would drop it. No, what had happened was they keep on hearing it on Reddit, but nobody pays attention, and new baltards come in, but they haven't seen the debunk, and they just mindlessly parrot the claim, just like Denise is doing. Right? So go back to that video. I show you or Chris Van Maitre, shout out to him. He shows quite explicitly that it does change angular size throughout the day and throughout the year. But it's utterly meaningless to the topic of a spheretard. Utterly meaningless. Or flat. That doesn't have anything to do with it. But here we go.
We lose Patrick?
Okay,
In
so-
moisture
we've managed to lose Patrick somehow. But your question is, why does the angular
Patrick, you're
size of
back.
the sun?
Oh, sorry.
not-
Hold on, Nathan. I just want to make sure he's back, and then feel free. Okay, Patrick, are you back? Can you hear me? I just noticed his connection
Looks like he's
dropped. a little
frozen.
bit.
Yeah, it looks like he's frozen.
Okay, let's let him fix that. Nathan, take it away.
So you're saying, why does the apparent size of the sun not change throughout the day? Correct?
No, I was actually asking the question: does the sun change in angular size throughout the day?
Yeah, that's what he said. That's what Nathan just asked you. He's that stupid, folks.
Okay, that was my question. And Patrick's back, so maybe Patrick finish, and then Nathan go ahead.
Let me just finish real quick. But the statement, how is it that half the earth has total darkness? That's not actually true. There are times when the earth has way more visibility of the sun than the globe model would ever allow.
I've heard that before. I've never looked into it because I didn't care. Maybe some of you guys out there have heard that before. But we'll move on.
The notion that it has to be a ball because there's exactly half of the earth that doesn't have any sun at all
That's non sequitur.
given times, it's just falsifiable. It's not true. In fact, there are some days when they say that the earth is seeing 99% of all human beings are seeing the sun all at the same time. You look that stuff up. It's very interesting. But
That would be interesting. Has anyone ever heard that before? Just for my information, if anyone's heard that before or has any information on that, just go ahead and PM me with it. Appreciate it.
no, the globe model does not explain.
The globe model does not explain. Number one, there is no globe model. Number two, if there was, it wouldn't be explaining shit. That's a reification fallacy. Hello, mind stump.
The percentage of the earth that is looking at the sun.
Okay, so then the next question is: does the angular size of the sun in the flat Earth model have to change?
There is no flat Earth model. How many times have they already told you? You don't know what a model is. You don't know what a scientific model is. You don't have a model, and neither does flat earthers.
Throughout the day,
What
because
flat
it
earth
does
model would that
change
be?
right from
You hear Nathan? What flat Earth model would that be?
us and towards us, right? It's moving
Let
on
Nathan
the
take that.
record player, right?
What flat earth model would that be? I haven't claimed any flat earth model. That's the first thing. And secondly,
Well, there is no flat Earth model, first of all.
Well, there is no globe Earth model either. You don't know what a model is. You don't know what a scientific model is. You're just mindlessly parroting what you've been told by utter morons. That's it.
But I'm just curious what you think about the sun. How do we resolve the issue with the sun?
What do we think about the sun? How do we resolve the issue with what issue with the sun?
when you say there is no flat earth model, that's not true. They're all flat earth models.
All right, now he's entertaining you with this. I don't like this route, but Nathan does what he does. He's trying to tell you that your globe concept is all based on flat Earth elevation angles, is what he's trying to say. But he's trying to speak your lingo. I would have corrected that, but that's me.
Can
All
we
of the
make
maps.
predictions on it? Do we have an act?
Can you make predictions on it? On that thing that doesn't exist? No, you can't. Even if it did exist, it's not predicting shit. What do you think? Models are like Gene Dixon or Jimmy the Greek? Nostradamus?
Actual scientific model where you can make
Scientific model. You don't know what a scientific model is.
predictions and you can do those equations and have repeated
Equations in a scientific model? Really? Pray tell.
experiments. Do you have that
Oh,
model
brother.
in place? Do you have, Any footage of the edge of the earth? Like what? This
Any footage of the edge of the earth? Where did that come from? Look at Nathan. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
is what I mean. Like,
No, it's what you mean is you're just mindlessly parroting the headlines from what you've seen on Reddit in 2015. If this doesn't give the game away, I don't know what does.
Wow. I'm really disappointed in Whitehead, I have to say. He still, other than that little tirade where he was telling Nathan Oakley to shut up, other than that, and this guy is like a lifelong martial artist, supposedly, so that was actually...
Oh, I will take that fucking Pepsi challenge. You could bet your ass on that. Denise. Clown. Retard. Dumb fuck. My word.
Actually kind of surprising that he got that triggered. But other than that moment, he doesn't seem, and he was triggered
Who cares a shit about trigger? You better get to a point here, Mind Stomp, real quick, or I'm going to 5 your dumb ass.
because of the interrupting, not because of what's being discussed. So we do have to give Whitehead credit.
Okay, 5.
He's slightly more triggered
5.
because
You're getting
because
5.
again,
Shut up.
Eddie's
Shut up.
If we are just who said or further consider the would be
He just won't shut up.
I mean, White doesn't matter. It's actually surprising.
Do you
Oh,
agree
there
with
we
them?
go.
They say, yeah, we don't have a model. We just have our counter evidence to your evidence.
There is no models in this nonsense. Idiot.
Do you
I
agree
was
with
in
that,
the
or
middle
do
of
you have a
saying something
model
opposite to
present?
that, but I got stepped all over. I'll try again to contradict what you've just said. Other people say that aren't me. All of them are flat
No, I'm
Earth
asking you.
models. That's the second attempt. I'll count them off. All of the models, including your globe model,
They don't exist. All of them don't exist. Conceptually, they're all based on flat Earth geometry. That's the answer.
are flat Earth models.
See, that's not true.
I'm gonna have to agree technically because they're not models. But you don't know that.
I mean, I understand why Oakley is saying that because he's using one very strict definition. But again,
Strict definition of what?
it's not that different. It's not like there's completely different definitions. There's shades of definition. As
Shades of definition. What the hell are you on about? Shades of definitions of what?
long as they align with the principle, they're still valid.
What? As long as definitions align with the principle? What is it? Is that a definite article? Where's this principle at? Is that like the oracle? As long as they align with the oracle? My word.
definitions, right? I mean, this just doesn't go for scientific definitions. This is for all definitions.
What the hell is he on about?
Like a book. Is a comic book a book? Yes, it's a type of book, even though it has illustrations. Is a book without illustrations a book? Yes.
What in the world did I get myself into here?
Is a holy text like the Bible a book? Yes. Is a picture book with only pictures a book? Yes. It all falls under
What does that have to do with... Are you trying to define a scientific model, you clown?
the umbrella of
Oh, it all falls under the umbrella of correct. His fuckwit false analogy fallacies and false comparison fallacies all fall under the incoherent umbrella of correctness. Yeah, we've been down this idiot road before.
the book, the concept of a book.
You're getting
the
5.
same thing in science. Yes, you have a principle. If a definition, but if it doesn't, let's go to just Britannica.
Let's
Scientific
go to
modeling.
Britannica. What's it? Scientific modeling. Let's see what this says. Scientific modeling. The generation of a physical, conceptual, or mathematical. It's all over right there. That's not a scientific model, you clown. You don't know what a scientific model is. Britannica are a bunch of morons, right? Let's see what a scientific model is. From Indiana University.edu, scientific model. The important point that Becker introduced is that explanation of a natural phenomena, i.e. model or theory, they equate those, that's a fallacy, but I digress, must be testable by experimentation. In other words, once a model is proposed as an explanation of a phenomena, this is the really important part, mind stump, it can only be considered a scientific model if it can be objectively tested by experiment. End of citation. So, you say you have a scientific model. Okie dokie. Natural phenomena observed, please. Alternative hypothesis, please. We're going to need the independent and dependent variables, right? And then we're going to need the null hypothesis. That, at the end of that, and the end of the experiment, only then can you have a scientific model. Mathematics, like in that Britannica idiot definition, is such a non sequitur category error. If you would have put it's conceptual of Aunt Jenny's late summer tomato haul in Tupelo, Mississippi, if that was in the definition, it'd have been just as relevant as mathematical in it, you retard of the ages. So there you go. You're finished again. How many times do I get to debunk your third grade general science acumen? How many times is it? You're getting 5, douchebag.
Representation of a real flat or than a size. If everybody at least knows to live if they have fear. So your thing is, regardless of what, how if you're trying to predict the behavior of chemistry to ecology and the approximations of the they're working to improve and flat Earth, Davidism or whoever. And there's a whole with the globe Earth.
You won't shut up.
Asteroid, that are globe. I think that they're all or based in some of the history. Mile fine, then I will read known information to say that a flat mean. But yeah, and the smartest, etc. in any category.
All of them are using the latitude lines that are derived by way of a measurement. That's an in reality measurement.
That doesn't make the globe Earth model not a model.
What?
Do it again, and I'll 5 you.
Of Polaris on a flat plane. Those angle measurements to Polaris and the degree that it drops towards the horizon as you move away from it give you the latitude lines. That's flat Earth elevation angle measurements to derive the concept that is used to give you your globe model.
That he doesn't have.
Now, models aren't science.
Thank you.
Science deals exclusively with phenomenon. That's things.
Here's the semantic games again. I debunked these back in episode 1, so you'll have that.
Happening, flat Earth or globe Earth for that matter.
That's not correct.
That is correct.
Technology is also scientific.
Oh, technology is also scientific. Really? Everyone heard that, right? From the University of Georgia. What science isn't? Part 3. Science is not technology. This is the end of you. Well, it was the end of you in the beginning, but more specifically. One of the mistakes many people make in thinking about science is to confuse it, like you just did, you numpty dipshit, with technology. As a result, science often either receives undue credit for the miracles of modern science in one's kitchen, or undue blame for everything from overly firm tomatoes, see Aunt Jenny, Tupelo, Mississippi, to nuclear war. In fact, science doesn't make things. Scientists developed the understanding of radiation sufficient for the invention of the microwave oven, but neither making a microwave oven nor using it are science. Mind stump. Scientists are in the business of generating knowledge, whereas engineers are in the business of generating technology. In short, mind stump, mind dump. Science often leads to technology. It often uses technology, but it isn't technology. And in fact, it can operate quite independently of technology. Game, set, match. Idiot.
He's kind of
Earth or globe Earth for that matter.
That's not correct. Technology is also scientific.
What?
Thank you for that.
He's kind of pretending that this one phenomenon.
Keep appealing to this like it's science. It is not. Meanwhile, we've debunked the mathematical assertion that the horizon is at a geometric limitation to boats and buildings by showing that it isn't. Debunking the geometry. You don't need to trust anything. The maths is
I
laid
don't
down,
trust
set
it.
in
That's why we're going
stone.
to do the experiments. He didn't really debunk it. You had him.
You got to do the experiment, though, Nathan. He never let it go. Never. He's got a blind melon chitlin kung fu death grip on that monkey.
answer. There's answers to your answers.
There's answers to his answers, really. Where at? You going to present any?
Go on forever. Let's do the
They go on forever. That's not an appeal to extremes.
experiment together and just
More experiments.
prove it once and
Look at Nathan.
for all.
What's
I'm
the
asking about
experiment?
the sun,
So-
Nathan.
What's an
So does the
experiment?
Does the sun change
Okay, what's
in
an
angular
experiment?
size throughout the day on a flat Earth or not?
The not actual size of the sun. You're asking me why does the not actual size of the sun, that's angular size,
Does the
not
sun
change?
get bigger and smaller throughout the day based on where it's located and where you're viewing it?
And that's angular size, not actual size.
He's trying to get through to him, but he just ain't. It's not going to happen. He's too stupid.
That's what I said, the angular size. Yeah, does that change?
The not actual size change?
He doesn't get it. Maybe partly, but now he can't give it up.
Does the sun change in size?
In not actual size, angular size.
Does the
Look at Patrick.
sun
What do you mean
appear
by
to
that?
get smaller?
Or angular, not actual size. It's the third time I've said it.
Right, because of your the actual it's not like we're saying the sun is growing and shrinking like as an actual object. I'm not saying that. Let me rephrase it. From my perspective, viewing the sun, if I were to track it throughout the day, and obviously I would never stare directly at the sun, never do that. Let's
Shut up.
say I got a really nice camera with a decent zoom on it.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Whitehead is not about sun gazing either?
All right, we're not.
I thought he
You're
knew.
getting fived.
I mean, replaced by
Camera, and I literally just mount it on an equatorial mount that would actually track the sun throughout the day. And I let it run for, say, a few days.
Equatorial mount. Like I told you, this is from 2015, folks. There's another gem to point to 2015 Reddit.
In a row, will I see the actual size of that sun change based on perspective? Because it would have to be moving forwards and backwards. Because what's a sunset otherwise, right?
That's rhetorical language. The sun doesn't set on a globe or a flat earth. Doesn't rise either. Just rhetorical bullshit. You're using it as some kind of objective claim. You're an idiot.
This is the argument that you guys will bring if I say, I've watched the sun go below the horizon. I see it
Again, here we go. Back to 2015 Reddit forums.
multiple times, and I've seen it come up from the horizon until it's a full sphere in the sky.
Sphere in the sky. You can see three-dimensional celestial objects. That's an amazing feat. Have you contacted the Guinness Book of World Records? You have no idea how vision even works at a fundamental, like, retard level. Thanks for that, by the way.
So in the flat earth explanation, it would have to go
The flat earth explanation, does inanimate objects give explanations? That's a reification fallacy, idiot.
away from you, right? Similar to
Right.
the boats on the horizon. That's the only way it would work on a flat surface.
What? That's what?
What?
So if that's true, then we would see an observable difference in the angular size of the sun relative to the observer.
Wrong. This is a false comparison fallacy, folks. Listen up. He's comparing angular size change with terrestrial to terrestrial objects versus his claim of terrestrial to celestial objects. Everyone catch that? That is a textbook false comparison fallacy. Everyone got that? If you need more explanation, PM me.
And not
Okay, I'd
actual
like to-
size.
Nathan, I'd like to answer this.
Well, he's put it to me. No, that is what the sun does as it goes away from you. Do you know how I know?
So it gets smaller.
My
to
bad.
me.
Only
To
one
me, it gets
sentence.
smaller.
Only about 2 or 3 minutes from you. One sentence from me. Maybe you call me a dick. I'll try again. In celestial
You are a dick,
navigation,
but
you
that's-
measure your position to the horizon. Now, if the sun is above the horizon, its GP location, that's the point below the sun on the ground, i.e. if the sun was above you at your zenith, can be, and often is, beyond the horizon. So when you measure your angle to the horizon and the GP location of the star, it's beyond the limitation of your view at the horizon. So when you say it's going over the horizon, you mean over the physical geometric limitation to your view at 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, aka Earth curve hill getting in the way, that we debunked? Definitely not. Meanwhile, in celestial navigation, you can measure its position beyond the horizon after you establish the ground as level to get an angle to the sun to find out where your location is. That's called celestial navigation. It only works on a flat plane. It only works with angle.
That's it. That only works on a flat. We debunked your bullshit. You're dinging here before. You should be dung. That worked out.
Measurements from Polaris, that's your latitude lines, that were measured from a flat plane. That's why all the maps are flat. So, no,
I don't-
the sun doesn't go beyond the horizon.
So Nathan, give me a straight answer. Does the size of the
He just did.
sun on my perspective change, and why do I see as the sun is going over the horizon, I don't see the whole
It's still over the horizon. He can't let it go. Nothing affects him. Nothing.
sun disappear. I see it like a quarter of a sun, then half a sun, then three, like it's dipping down. I'm seeing
Why do the train tracks appear to touch in the distance? Can David Whitehead answer that question? This is one of the most painful debates I've actually ever went through, just because, Oakley's being so freaking obnoxious.
Oh God, you're getting 5.
This guy has no.
Shut up.
from my deck, and it's coming
What?
and you see
This is a family show.
the top, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more. Then it's
Oh,
in the
brother.
sky, right? That's what I'm witnessing. And so, if you're saying that the reason the sun is setting and rising is because it's
I already said this. The sun doesn't set or rise either in a globe tart or flat. Look at Patrick. He can't believe how retarded these two guys are.
vanishing from my
didn't make
field
a
of
claim.
vision,
I didn't make this claim.
then I would see the whole thing shrink into the smallest little dot to the like a
False equivalence fallacy, false comparison fallacy. I already spoke to this. Even though it does, even though the sun does change angular size throughout the day and year, it's still a false comparison fallacy.
pinhead,
Would you?
and then it would just I couldn't see it anymore. I would not see the shape obscured by the horizon. I wouldn't see that.
What a
like a
dumbass.
brick that disappears at 4 miles.
We're not talking about bricks. I'm talking about the sun.
Well, no, we're talking about things that you said get blocked by the horizon. There's a physical geometric limitation at 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. That's an Earth curve hill getting in the way that the sun's going behind in this
Circular
description.
argument, no joke.
That's not circular, you dumbass. Where's the circularity? That's circular. Moron.
My bad, I'm just summarising his position. Haven't actually refuted it yet. Of course, that's the first time.
Refute it. Why do I see that? Explain it.
Oh,
And
Well, you open up your eyes, your eyelids, and you look. That's why.
I was
Does
in the
the
middle of
size change?
I was in the middle of summarising your position to refute it, but then somebody's talked, and now you're asking me to do it again. Just another interruption. Yeah, if the horizon was Earth curve, it would be at 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. A hill, geometric in limitations, to get in the way of the sun. We've debunked that. The horizon's not Earth curve. We can show it
you
beyond the
didn't debunk
geometric
it. You just said
limitations.
words. We got
You just said words. What else is there?
What?
to do
And there's
that
the third
experiment
interruption.
together.
We can show it beyond the geometric limitations, and further to that, you can measure the GP position of the sun beyond the horizon, where you see it, when you navigate with it. It could be up to 2,000 or 3,000 miles away from you if it's low to the horizon, based on the angular measurement.
You know what's weird? Again, the Oakley fanboys might get really pissed at me, but
Oh, shut up.
even if what now,
Off.
maximally
You're a
of yet
dumbass.
of the understanding the
Shut
lack of a more advanced fact down pretty.
Minus from 60, minus from 90 and times by 60 to give you the distance to the GP to navigate with it. Well, that distance is along a flat baseline. It's a triangle. Well, that's the sun already beyond the horizon in navigational terms. So when you say it goes beyond a hill, no, it's long beyond the hill when you measure its GP position on a flat plane. That's the second time I've refuted your position.
That's not a refutation.
No, nuh-uh. That's all he's got. Nuh-uh.
My eyes are deceiving me.
No,
I'll give it a
navigation.
shot.
No, navigation
Let me-
is showing you that it's
let me take it.
already beyond the horizon when it's several thousand
You already told him a number of times they ain't gonna get it.
miles away from you, and you're using it with an angle measurement to it. Third time.
All right, so let me take a crack at this. So what I don't really understand here is we started by saying there is no evidence that the curve of the Earth is of a presupposed spherical Earth is the reason why we have a horizon, and we ended up kind of battling to a standstill with us saying, "Do you have evidence of such?" To which you responded, "Okay, we're going to do an experiment to get evidence of such." And then you say to me,
Because you didn't like the experiment I showed you. And so I said, let's do it ourselves then.
right?
Can you define experiment
mind?
for us?
I just
You haven't shown anything.
I was 10 seconds into my answer. David.
Go ahead, Patrick. Go ahead, Patrick.
I mean, Nathan gets mad for a reason. Okay, so I'm gonna try again. All right. So the fact is that we said repeatedly that we can show that the Earth is not a ball because the horizon can be shown not to be Earth curve, because we're able to reacquire objects that were previously thought to be beyond the horizon, blocked by a physical barrier, not simply too small to see because of perspective, blocked by the physical curvature of the Earth. This is the claim of the Globers, okay? Now,
Not in 2015 from Reddit, it's not. That's where they're coming from.
you then come back to me and say, well, we're going to find some other experiment. That's fine, whatever. But the fact is that I have already shown you why it is possible to show that the curvature of the Earth is not the reason for the horizon and that such curvature cannot be shown to exist. And then in response, you've come to me and you've said, okay, so we're going to go over to your model that I don't claim. And we're going to say, I want you to explain to me why the sun does this. You can come up with a laundry list of observable phenomena that you think are explained by the globe model, which we have effectively just debunked. But just because it makes predictions in your mind does not mean that it is true, that it is the reality that we are standing on.
Bam, laying down the law here.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I mean that's pretty good phrasing that I think. I mean, I don't know if Josh will understand that, but that's pretty.
There's no way. Josh. No. Anything beyond the, he's not understanding. This guy's not getting it either because it's been explained to him plenty of times. They ain't going to understand that explanation. No way.
Pretty good phrasing. I mean, I hope that Whitehead can understand that.
You hope. Oh, brother.
Not just that, but I don't know why they're not bringing up the prediction. Like, I bring this up in just about
All right,
every
you're getting
single...
fived.
They allow shadows of snins as a claim. Just
Well,
like if
now
I
we
was
got
arguing
pyramids.
for Globers, guess themselves, it's like...
Oh, brother.
The sun go down under the horizon. If the Earth is a globe, then we would see the sun go down under the horizon. The sun seems to go down under the horizon, therefore the Earth is a globe.
Yeah, that's an affirming the consequent form of logical fallacy.
Affirming the consequent fallacy. If A, then B, B, therefore A. It's a fallacy. You can get ChatGPT to admit to it over and over again.
Why would we need Chat GPT to admit to it? It's just that's what it is.
So when you ask me to explain to you why the sun appears to do what it does,
What did he ask them to? Oh, he did. Why are we needing to explain claims that we didn't make? Now that's a question. I don't know. Do you like pull up to a gas station, go up to a complete stranger and ask them to explain claims that they haven't made? Try that one time. See if you leave. Don't wear your glasses. Okay? Make sure you got your running shoes on.
It's just not part of my burden. We've already shown that the horizon is not Earth curve. Therefore, the Earth is not a ball of 3959 miles in radius. I'm done.
Okay, can I respond real quick? And then Josh, I'd like you to chime in on this.
Oh, God.
Just been listening.
Why would anybody want Josh to chime in on anything? I mean,
No shit.
Is he like a family friend where
Okay, that was a good one. Is he like a family friend?
you're just indulging him to with participation trophy? I mean, what's going on with Josh?
The participation trophy. All right. You got a couple zingers in there. All right. I'll grant you that. You dumbass cracker.
Again, I don't want to attack this guy. This guy's clearly got a severe mental disability.
Oh, God. How many times have he said, if you're in a drinking game and mental disability comes up, you'd get your stomach pumped? As many times as this moron said it was a mental disability.
Why would anyone want him to chime in on any kind of serious discussion on anything? I don't get it.
Me neither.
I don't get it.
So,
Of course, Denise does. Denise is searching for his answers.
yeah. So if I'm looking at your model, there
What? After how many times have they told him? He's even admitted that Flat Earth doesn't have a model. Now he says, oh, sorry. Now he says,
yeah. So if I'm looking at your model, there has
can't make this up, man.
What?
to be certain things that happen if that model is to be true. And the whole point of looking at it is to say, I see a contradiction with what you're saying over
What
here.
the hell are you on about now?
So we got most of this debate was taken up with the curvature thing, which is great. I'm glad. And everybody can figure it out.
The no point, the curvature thing, the no point issue. Yes, right.
And we should do those experiments without
Oh, God, he's still on experiments.
watching videos. I agree, right? But if I say, all right, how do you answer this contradiction?
What's the contradiction?
I want to know, because if that is if the phenomena of the sun
Phenomena of the sun?
What?
isn't explained,
What?
then that's a problem for flat Earth. And
What?
That's non sequitur. He's a stone cold dumbass, man.
I want to know, how do you get around that?
How do we get around explaining your claims? I don't think so. Non sequitur from the Black Lagoon.
And what's the evidence that you have to
What's the evidence that we have for your claim? No.
refute that?
Refute what?
What claim have we made about the sun exactly?
Exactly.
For us to be defending?
I made the claim.
Oh, you made the claim. Oh, boy. You still have hope for him, Mind Stump? This is a calamity of a disaster of dumpster fire. That's in between his ears. He's really stupid.
I asked the question. I said, okay, because actually, this is a really good, we didn't actually get your claim. What is,
Look at Patrick. He's beside himself.
how close is the sun? and
He's
how,
almost embarrassed. He wants to hide. You should hide after introducing these two monkeys. But I understand why you did it, and we want to thank you for it.
how does it operate on a flat Earth?
Okay, so you can't acquire that information because if you're using the sun to navigate with, as it moves towards the horizon, if you're measuring an angle and then calculating the distance to the GP beyond the horizon that isn't Earth curve that we've debunked, then that would infer, if you're using the triangle to get the height, that it's moving lower to the ground as it reaches the horizon. Well, obviously that's not the case. The sun isn't getting closer to the ground. You can derive its GP position to navigate with it, but it's not getting closer to the ground. So we don't have a height claim. I don't make a height claim.
Get him.
Meanwhile,
Get him.
Kepler's
He does. Get him.
third law of interplanetary motion would suggest that you have orbits. And those orbits can be used to give you scaling values for a sphere Earth in a sky vacuum with gas not expanding into it, and the sun being at a 93 million mile distance, because a guy called Christian Huygens superimposed the R value we debunked, measured by Al-Biruni at a geometric limitation at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, onto Venus. So Christian Huygens assumes that Venus has the same R value because obviously it's a rock in a sky vacuum in an orbital motion that Kepler assumed. And therefore you can give your scaling values to your R assumptions to give you your distance and size of the sun, all of which we can debunk. So we don't have a size and distance claim for the sun. You do.
You do. That was outstanding performance. You do, clown. So you explain it. And with that explanation, because explanations are worthless, I can get a ton of them down on the corner with the village idiot. Explanations are worthless without validation. So you're going to have to validate your idiot explanation for your claim. Let's get to it.
This is a burden of proof reversal fallacy.
Exactly. Good job.
You're the one with the positive claim of size and distance for the sun, and asking me why it does a not actual size change as it moves through its not actual position in a refracted, non-geometric Earth curve world is irrelevant because I don't have a claim about it. You have one about a distance and size to your sun in a heliocentric model.
So that was probably Oakley's best moment thus far here.
He had a bunch of best moments. You just missed them because you're too ignorant. Remember, you're geometrically illiterate, scientifically illiterate. You don't know what logic is. You most assuredly don't know what logical fallacies are. Those are some tall mountains to climb for you.
Non-triggered, just
Shut up.
normally in a normal volume, calmly.
All right,
Kid.
he's getting 5.
Like this, they don't know the history of any of it. The history is weird. And he, bro, I think assuming, especially for Josh,
He just doesn't shut up, folks. I've had enough of his horse shit. I've just reached my limit of his soap opera color commentary. That's what it is. And I'm not putting up
they're
with it.
assuming he's like, clearly he's with, say, at least understand really good. I have
Venus, with an application, told you about all the assumptions of an R value imposed by Christian Huygens on Venus with an application of Kepler's third law. How do you justify your distance to your sun?
Yeah, Denise. Get to that right now. And look at Patrick with the shit-eating grin on his face, like he's gonna do anything. Look at him. What's he? I can't remember what he does.
I'm just talking about observation, man.
He's just talking about observation, man. Boy, that's a grand rebuttal. My word.
What?
That's what I want to know. How does it work on a flat Earth? If you
Right back to the same old vomit. Like he did, like Nathan just didn't say anything to him. He's a clown, man.
if the Earth is flat,
If the Earth is flat, go ahead and finish up that affirming the consequent formological fallacy for us.
This is sad because it looks
Yeah.
like. So here's the thing. I don't think David Whitehead's triggered. I really don't.
Shut up!
And look at him.
You're done.
It's sad. Clearly, I really this
not the phenomena. I agree with Patrick,
the David Whitehead on the
Shut up.
Enslaved podcast.
and I disagree with Patrick's assumption that there's somehow not the phenomena of half the Earth being lit and half
What? That was sort of clumsy.
the Earth not. I've got friends that live in Australia. We can experiment all the time.
We got you ain't experimenting, and what do friends in Australia have anything to do with what Patrick said? What is his? Well, he's retarded. We can move on.
And go put cameras out our windows and
Oh, brother.
observe how pitch black that it gets in one.
Observe how pitch black something becomes when they got cameras out of some ambiguous, arbitrary position of your butt buddies. What a moron you are, sir.
area without any kind of faint light going on
What the
that you would
fuck?
expect if the sun is going away. You have pitch black and you have full daylight.
Yeah, this is getting tough.
Yeah.
I still
Yeah, it's getting. We've already been there and back, sunshine.
appreciate the fact that Whitehead is not.
Shut up.
What is he saying here?
Who knows?
And just because you have 2 points on a gigantic Earth, regardless of the shape, that doesn't prove exactly 50% of it is light or dark completely.
We
And
get
that
it.
doesn't mean that sunset or sunrise is not going on over large distances either,
Oh,
which it clearly
boy.
is. Yeah, I'm really disappointed in Whitehead. I mean, really, like this.
Really?
Is rough.
On the other side, on it, right? So if the flat Earth model is to actually work, the
What model?
contradiction I'm pointing out
What model?
is that the sun
There we go. Back to what model? Oh,
would have to change angular size throughout the day, and what we observe, what I have observed.
False dichotomy again. I mean,
not a false dichotomy, is just wrong. Now, I don't know where MindStump got this information. I've never seen this before, but if you go back to the original treatment that I did, Chris Van Maitre just clubs him to death. His superficial headline, mindless parrot of a Reddit claim from 2015.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what to make of Whitehead here because
Well, he's a fraud. Simple. And he's retarded.
I don't think he's mentally disabled. I mean,
Oh, yes, he is. You're mentally disabled. That's why you don't recognize the mental disability in Denise. You do recognize it with Josh, which is quite troubling. It's an anomaly.
we have a clear mental disabled individual here in Josh, so
Right.
we can compare.
Well, he does too. He's demonstrated it countless times. You dinged him 103 times. Apparently, there's a problem.
Whitehead seems to have a decent level of mental capacity.
Oh,
He's just
God,
not,
we're fiving him.
he can't come-
Size, not even one little bit. And anytime we see
What did he say?
change
Excuse, I can't come up with one.
observed, it doesn't change angular size, not even one little bit. And
Not even one little bit. Must be in the white paper technical language. I don't. He's MindStump is train wrecking you down here with this video. But just go back and watch the original one from Chris Van Maitre on my review of this, and it's all over.
anytime we see change in the size,
And it's utterly meaningless to whether the Earth is a sphere tard or it's flat. This is all this just chasing your tail over nothingness.
we can ascribe that to glare and the
Oh,
way the
boy.
light operates with the human eye and everything else.
Man, Whitehead is spiraling.
Yeah, he's a
It never
dumbass.
changes angular size, except when it does. It never appears to, except all the times that it does. And then he roped in. He's
Look at the look on I just looked down at Patrick.
immediately spamming the ad hoc logical fallacy and false cause logical fallacy.
Oh,
also,
brother.
you can include that in
All
there.
right.
Where
Shut up.
never logical is science. That come up with all is real of goo. Change size of hallucin. Is David with
Second time.
Finish. I'm just gonna finish.
Let him finish
Just
what?
let finish.
Repeating it. I heard it the first time.
Five.
I'm not
Just let
deaf.
finish.
Second
For
time.
days
I
and
got it the
days.
first time.
It won't, oh,
I
you're
got
interrupting
it
me.
the first time.
I'm just about,
I'm not
just about
deaf.
finished. I'm just about finished. I'm just about finished.
Let him finish
Just
what?
let finish.
Repeating it. I heard it the first time.
5. That's 6
Shut
times.
your
you
dumb
interrupted.
ass
what I'm
up.
saying.
Yeah, go ahead and finish.
Shut up.
Second time I've
I'll
heard it.
finish, and then
I
you
heard it
can
the
go.
first time.
So
You're gonna get muted.
I'm gonna mute him.
Right, but we are talking to an audience as well.
Yeah, we're not
So
exactly.
we're
No,
trying.
I'm going to get muted because I've already addressed it, and he's rinsed and repeated and gone through the motions of saying the exact same thing again. And because he doesn't like me giving the same objection to the same repetition of the same thing, I get muted. So when I'm asked why I have my own show for my own audience that can hear me speaking because I'm not in control of my own show, yeah, I can still talk to you as an audience and say, what a wanker. You don't like me objecting to you repeating the same thing I've already overcome? You haven't acknowledged my refutation of it.
See here, this is why people don't like Nathan.
Shut up.
And Oakley, I mean,
just
the
ad hom
obnoxious
fallacy. You're
nature,
getting five.
As long as Mr. Dave, as,
Shut
I
up.
mean, yeah,
That's why I've got my own show. So that I don't get muted by a host when I object to hearing the same thing repeated without a single acknowledgement of my refutation of it.
would change angular size throughout the day to the observer if it was a close sun going over a flat Earth. It would. If it doesn't, that's a problem, and I want to know why.
So when it does,
Well, because you're retarded. And like I said, you're mindlessly parroting superficially headlines from Reddit from 2015. That's why.
change angular size, when it does change angular size, you've already said that it's because of other factors, right? So it's an automatically falsified observation if you do observe a change in angular size.
That's not what I said. Can I correct that? I'm asking
Yes.
you, that is if we're looking at the naked eye, which you should actually
If you're looking at the naked eye, I thought you were looking at the sun. Clown.
not do, but because of the effect of the sun on the eyeball.
Brother.
But I'm talking about looking at it through a camera, zoomed in for 3 days in a row, tracking it
What about 4 days?
with an equatorial mount,
Equatorial mount. That's
which we're going to get to, which is a major problem for flat
Solar
Earth.
filter.
he thinks he thinks the equatorial mount is a major problem for flat earthers. Well, maybe in 2015, in 2016, we torpedoed that horse shit. My God.
Solar filters, keeping it zoomed,
Like he knows what a solar filter is, or this idiot.
following it and tracking it doesn't change a bit.
A bit. Doesn't change a bit. Of course, he's debunked right here and with Curse Van Maitre. And like I said, it's non sequitur category error to the discussion of whether the Earth is a sphere-tard or flat. All encompassed in a false comparison fallacy.
So we can eliminate the issue with glare and perspective and human eye limitations
brother.
and all of that because we have a device
He's taking
that can
the shit out
actually
of him.
show that it does not change in angular size. That is a major problem for the flat Earth model.
So just
What?
address this
You can't address this. You're muted. Shut up.
multiple times. Yeah? Not actual size? Who gives a crap? Meanwhile, his audience can't hear a single word I'm saying.
Have all the answers.
You're not
the
my
fact
guru,
is,
Patrick. I love you, man, but you're not a
All right.
guru.
All right, dudes. Guess what? I'm starting to get seriously hungry. You know what that means? All right, we still got some people left in here. We got some super chat, super fluids, super molids. Let's see what we got. Oh, I'm going to have to scroll back. Thanks, guys. 4 more. I think that was the last one I was on. Go down, for God's sake. Where was it? Feel for me 4 more hours. Down. Here we go. From James Richard again. Thanks, James. If the boat disappears behind the water and zooming in with a scope brings it back, that tells us that the disappearing was only optical. Correct, James. That's what he was trying to explain to Denise, but he didn't get it. And the same thing will happen with the scope, which is, yes, James, exactly. You're right on. Yeah. Yeah. That's what he can explain it like in 3rd grade language, and Denise still wouldn't have got it. Roger Ledwell. What? 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 Oh, sorry about that. Go. There it is. What?
What?
James Richard again. Thanks, James. Globetards don't know what an experiment is. Yeah, they just haven't got there yet. Which is precisely how they get the globe. And proceed to call it science. Yeah, it's quite painful. That's what happened when I first come out here, and that was their death knell. Ironically. James Richard again. Fantasy, the faculty or activity of imagining things, especially things that are impossible or improbable. This might explain why everyone's space fantasy is different. Very true. It's literally a fantasy. Yes, sir. And James just knocking the shit out of this tonight. James Richard again. DW, that's Denise for short, is so funny. He reminds me of a 3-legged dog trying to bury a turd on an icy lake. That's a good visual, man. Good on you. I like the visual ones. Yes, sir. Did I skip a super chat? Did I skip Misfit? I damn sure did. Misfit. I am very sorry. Super chat. Super fluid. Super molid. Super Trooper. Good shit as always. Keep it going. Yeah, there you go. Thanks. I'm glad that somebody pointed me back there. Who was that? That was Flatsy. Thanks, Flatsy. I didn't want to miss that one. All right, listen. Dudes, I'm really hungry. It's beyond the mite peckish at this point. I need to get some chow. Now, we're not going to end it with this episode. There'll be at least one more episode. All right? So I hope you enjoyed this one. Remember that that Kansas is at sea level.
What?
Oh, boy. Yeah, Kansas is at sea level. You got to remember that one. I'm sure there's more stupidity in there. There's a lot of gems in here. This is a good teaching opportunity. There's a lot that you go back through this, man. There's a lot of good stuff in here you could pull up. Even from stupid people, you use their numpty canvas to paint your Rembrandt. How you like that? As for me, it's dinner time. Hope you enjoyed it. QE out.